basic on the Barn Burner TV network, ZingoTV channel 250. Also the H.E.R network, ZingoTV channel 251. Remember to download both the apps in the respective app store on iOS and Android, and ZingoTV. They're also available on Roku Sticks, Amazon Fire TV Sticks, Google Chromecast, and all smart TVs 2016 forward. Welcome to Barn Burner Live, the flagship of the Barn Burner TV network. You see her, my new co-host, Jessica Singh. Jessica, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be on the show. Thank you so much, Joe, for the introduction.
And of course, the Tampa Bay alum. By the way, you can't get a Stanley Cup hat. You mentioned before we started here, you're raising up the banners in 5 days, 6 days. Come on.
Now, this is even better than a Stanley Cup hat. You know what this is? This is the first piece of merchandise that ever had the new Tampa Bay logo. They gave these out the day they unveiled the new logo and the new uniforms back in 2012 or 13, whatever it was. And so I've decided to wear this instead.
I love it, Steve.
Thank you, Jess. See, Jess likes it. That's all.
So aren't you gonna congratulate Jess as the new co-host? But she has big shoes to fill co-hosting with me. Come on, Steve.
I'm gonna congratulate you, Joe, because I was told that I was the hottest free agent in sports radio. But obviously that's not the case. You landed that.
But Steve, I don't know if you know this. We're on TV. We're not on radio.
Well, sports radio, sports TV, sports media. It's all good.
You are. You know what? To no offense to Jess, Steve Carney should be on top. You should be covering what's happening at the White House right now. Do you want to give a play-by-play? Because me and Jess are Canadian. You're American. Mm-hmm. Give us what's going on. I know you're in Tampa, but what happened in Tampa? Your eyes. What happened last night?
I'll tell you what happened. There is a television program that came out probably 5 or 6 years ago. It's called The Newsroom. It was put out on HBO. It was written by Aaron Sorkin, and it involved the day-to-day of a fictional cable news network dealing with some of the bigger stories. And there was one story that came out in the first season that involved the Tea Party. And the main character in that show, Will McAvoy, played amazingly in an Emmy-winning fashion by Jeff Daniels, said that the Tea Party and the people that represent it are not patriots. They are not even Republicans. But he called them what they are. They are the American Taliban. That they care only for the people that look like them and think like them and act like them. And for the rest of us that have normal opinions and are willing to have meaningful discussions with those who may disagree with what we believe, they are everything that is wrong with America right now. And thank goodness that we are less than 13 days away. We are 12 days, 14 hours, and 56 minutes away from this all coming to an end. And hopefully what should be a peaceful transfer of power. I'll believe it when I see it, when it comes to them. What they did, and I thought Draymond Green was absolutely right when he talked about they're not protesters, they're domestic terrorists. It's exactly what they were there for. They were there to instill fear in the normal working class American. It's all they do. And the best way to battle terrorists is to continue with our way of life and show them that they are not going to win. Congress did that late last night, certifying the Electoral College. And now here we are We've got 12 days to figure out exactly how we're going to peacefully transfer power from the current administration, whether it's from the person that is currently in the office of President of the United States, or maybe someone else who will be in that office because of the invocation of the 25th Amendment, which allows for the president to be removed from office if he is deemed incapable of performing his duties. Whether it is Donald Trump or if it is somebody else there, when the transfer of power comes on January 20th, hopefully it will be peaceful, and hopefully at that point, maybe we can start getting back to normal and we can start thinking about sports in the same way and fashion that we like to talk about here on Barn Burner Live, and that we're going to talk about here on Barn Burner Live over the next couple of hours.
And we're going to talk about that. But Steve, this is very well said. And Steve, just give people. We were talking. Me and Jess were talking about this before we started. Give people, for those people who don't know. Of course, you're great at what you do with the sports. But before you were in sports broadcasting, what were you? Look at the people who are watching this and listening to this right now. Just go ahead, say. I couldn't say it more succinctly what you just said, Steve, but tell everybody your background.
Well, before I was a guy that was paid to flap my lips and talk about sports for a living, I served my country as a member of the United States Navy. 8 years, 6 of them on active duty, 4 of them aboard a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the USS Theodore Roosevelt. I've earned the Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal, the NATO medal for the Kosovo campaign. I've earned 3 Sea Service deployment ribbons. I have done what has been asked of me by my commanding officer, the commander-in-chief, and the officers appointed above me. So when I say that, the president of the United States, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces in the United States, has overstepped his bounds, I don't say that lightly. To say that he needs to be removed, that he needs to be removed from power, I don't take that declaration lightly, because I've had to serve under the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and obey the orders of the commander-in-chief and the officers appointed above me.
And for you, I'm sorry, Jess, for you, how bad is this look, and how do you feel for a guy who has served and I'm going to say, I know I'm not American, but this country?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get where you're going. And, to put it as succinctly as I can, this is an embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment it's a black eye to the world. This is showing the ugly side. It's funny, and you guys probably have seen this, growing up. You watch the news, you see stories of tumult and insurrection in countries, and you think, oh, that just happens over there. You think of growing up, I would see, Lebanon and, Israel and Syria and Jordan, and then, Iran and Iraq, and then Desert Storm comes along and it's Iraq and Kuwait, and then 9/11 comes along and it's Afghanistan, and you see the insurrection and all of the chaos that has ensued, and you think it happens over there. And for the first time in my life, I saw it happen here. And to repeat it,
by your own people, by your own people, not
by my own people, people that looked like me, and people that believe that they are doing the right thing when obviously they are misguided as hell. And I am absolutely embarrassed.
All right. So 1 second, we're going to be joined by perfect timing by Drew Ebanks. Drew Ebanks, of course, onpointbasketball.com. Drew
Hey,
had
guys.
had not what am I going to say here, Drew? For his this is his first appearance, and I don't say this lightly. Me and Drew have been friends a long time, and all that. He had the worst thing imaginable happen, losing his mom during the holiday season during Christmas. So first of all, thank you for doing this, Drew.
And condolences.
Thank
Condolences.
you, man.
Condolences. You could see
Yes.
our new co-host Jess there and all that, and
Steve.
Steve, you said everything perfectly, but now we're gonna switch to sports.
Yes.
Louis Banks and me have talked off air. He's blaming the Raptor start on you. All right.
Hey, I do too. What's going on with that, Steve?
Oh man, I'm
Tampa
telling you.
Bay Raptors, right?
Nah, the Tampa Bay Raptors look like Tampa Bay fools. Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about the Raps. I thought, they played 3 home games so far in the regular season against New Orleans, against the Knicks, and against the Celtics. They came out looking like gangbusters against New Orleans. They were up like 13 points in the second quarter and fell apart against the Pelicans. Absolutely. I don't know what the Pelicans did to, what adjustments the Pelicans made, but the Raptors had no answer for anything that they had. Zion Williamson, who, by the way,
JJ Redick went off.
JJ Redick had, I think, 6 or 7 threes in that game. But Zion Williamson, by the way, it's the first time I ever saw Zion Williamson live in person. And that man is as wide as he is tall. And that man is real tall. But he's a big boy. It's unbelievable.
Boy.
They came out. So I thought they looked good in the first half against the Pelicans. I don't know what happened in the second half, but it was ugly. I thought that they looked better against the Knicks, and I was thinking, okay, the Knicks are surprisingly playing well. I think that Julius Randle has really come into his own in the middle for the Knicks. I think that once Kevin Knox gets to be back to 100%, he provides really good depth off the bench and someone that can provide some really valuable minutes as a sixth man. And then they played the Celtics, and the Celtics just ran them off the court. The Celtics are really, really good. I mean, they might be the best team in the Eastern Conference. And I think they'd give a run to anybody in the Western Conference too, especially the way that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum played the other night. I mean, the problem that I have right now with the Raptors is that nobody in Tampa is here to see the Raptors. The 3 games, first game, everybody wanted to see Zion. The second game, everybody here in Tampa thinks that they're from New York. We call them STDs. They're South Tampa douchebags. So they all walk around. They're like, yeah, my Knicks and my Yankees. So everybody that was there the night of the Knicks game was there to see the Knicks. And then the other half of the STDs think they're from Boston. And so we're going to go see our C's and park our cars out at Emily Arena so we can see our C's. And they're chanting, "We want taco," and that was probably the only good thing that came out of the last game.
Taco Bell,
Taco Fall. Like everybody wanted to see Taco Fall, and they didn't get to see Taco Fall. Everybody went home disappointed.
So, Steve, you're one of the only guys who is allowed in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
How's the atmosphere for that? I know Tampa's not Toronto's team or whatever, but how is the atmosphere? Because when you look, they did the bubble in Orlando, there was nobody there. Now they're having, I believe, 2,000 or 3,000 fans a game?
3,800 fans, just under 4,000.
Okay, so how's the atmosphere there? Like, I know, take away people from Tampa, like New York, or are they loud? Or are they?
It's really a great atmosphere for a basketball game. They've done a really good job, and even they do have audio sweetening that goes on to give a little more to make it sound a little fuller, especially on the court for the players. Most of that goes onto the court, but it does filter through the seating bowl. But I'll tell you what, they've been really, really loud and boisterous. And even in that Knicks game when everybody started off going, yeah, you know, we got our Knicks, and when they started getting run off the court, everybody was cheering for the Raptors. It was great. It was a really fun atmosphere, and even with 4,000 people, you could tell that people were really into the game, which is surprising for me because I never considered Tampa to be an NBA town. You know, I consider it to be, you know, NFL 1, NHL 2, and Major League Baseball 3.
Yeah.
And so I look at it, they've done a really good job. The Vintage Sports Group and the people from Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment that are down here have done an incredible job getting the arena to look and sound like a good basketball court. Now, of course, there's nobody courtside, so it looks like it's empty. And, you know, if the ball goes out of bounds off the end line, you know, you could be running a ways until it reaches the end boards, because they've put the court down where center court is at center ice. It's not like in the Barclays Center where, you know, the ice in the court are you know, not concentric. So the big jumbotron hanging from the ceiling is right over the court, and so they've done a really good job of that. And I'm sure that if they could have people courtside, that it would look incredible. But, you know, nobody's allowed within 30 feet of the court, so you make do with what you can do. But they've done a really good job. You know, they've got people in the upper deck, in the upper levels. They've got people in the club sections. They've got people in the lower levels. And they've done a really good job, and every game is sold out. You know, they've sold the 3,800 seats every single night, which is great to see.
So they're all like spread out, you're saying?
Yep.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
spread out. They've got them. You know, you have to buy them in sets of 4. And so what they've done is the seating arrangement. There's 13 seats in a row, and so you can have either the first 4 seats or the last 4 seats in one row. And then the next row, it's only the middle 4 seats. So you've always got 6 feet between you, left, right, and front to back. So they've done a really smart job in doing that.
Well, Steve, what are their ticket prices, just by chance, because something like this never happened?
You can get into the building for $20.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you get in the building for $20.
I'm coming to Tampa. I am on my way.
It's so good. It's a great experience. They've got, like I said, they've got the people from Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment that are doing the in-game entertainment, not the hosts. The hosts are still up there, but
The big question is the Raptor there. The
Raptor is here.
Wow.
The Raptor is here.
Have you worked with Daniela, Steve?
Daniela Orsi, I love. She's great. Yes, I have.
Yeah, she's my friend, so she's out there. And
yep, she's there, and Anton is here. Although Anton is on his way back to get ready for Maple Leafs, but he has to quarantine, so he had to leave. He left.
Steve, hold on. You mentioned get back for what team?
That would be the
2021 Stanley Cup champions. You're talking about that?
There you go.
We'll see about that. Yeah, you say this every single year. You say it every year, but I think only one of us has a cup. Only one of us has Stanley Cup banners.
Yeah, but one of us has an NBA championship ring. Okay, there you go.
Only one of us right now has an NBA championship banner.
Yeah, you guys. All right, Jess, do you have any questions to ask?
Yeah, I have a question for Drew. You know, with the James Harden trade and whatnot, you know, do you think Kyle Lowry they would consider? Do you see the Raptors trading Kyle Lowry for James Harden?
I mean, they got John Wall. I mean, I don't know if they want to get Lowry. I mean, they already have that point guard. It's hard to say. I think it would probably be, you know, they'd probably want Pascal. If anything, they'd want someone, and he's not even playing that good, but they'd probably want somebody young more than a guy like Kyle. You know, but it's hard to say. I mean, I don't even know if he's on the radar or Toronto's a destination that James Harden would want to be at. You know, we know how amazing the city is, but and I'm sure he does. But it's chilly up here. It's chillier compared to Houston, Jess.
I don't know. You know, like
he's gonna play this year in Tampa. What do you mean chilly?
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
James Harden, if he does get traded, he's not going to play in Toronto. He's going to play in Tampa. That's not
I
true.
know this year,
Oh, yeah,
but
right.
long term, we want him long term, man. If we're gonna make a deal for him, no.
You know, with like even DeMar and like what was it, Kawhi, you know, and that all happened. It happened out of nowhere. So I'm thinking, I'm like, you know, Pascal's, and you know, we're all talking about Pascal, but what about Kyle? Like, it could happen. You know, we never know. Never know.
You never know. You never know what could be Masai could be up to. I mean, speaking of the Raptors, a lot of people I talk to, guys, and a lot of people are down on the Raptors, and a lot of people are saying they're a really bad team. I just don't see that. I know they're missing Serge. I know they're missing Mark. Obviously, the size, the veteran experience. But when you look at the core of this team, obviously Siakam's not playing. He's starting to turn it around now. But if you look at the core of this team, I think they're just not, and I'm not putting this on Nick Nurse, I just think they're not playing to the strengths. And I think the way they're playing an outside-in game, it's not conducive to good basketball. They need to get to the rack. They need to attack like other teams are doing against them. Force the other teams to be in foul trouble, to play them. And then from there, move the ball and get good shots. That's where I think they're faltering right now. But when I look at this team, I don't think they're a crap team, which a lot of people are coming to me and saying the Raptors suck. They don't have this. It's a G League team, this and that. But I'll tell you, they're not a G League team. They're a team that has championship experience. Yes, they're missing Serge. And when you hear the stories now about Serge kind of peeved that they were actually looking to bring back Marc Gasol, I'm just kind of baffled at that. I'm saying, why would they make Gasol a priority after the rough playoffs he had? I would have thought Serge would have been the guy they would have to try to get back, even if they were only able to give Serge the 2 years. From reading what the Toronto sports media wrote, guys, they said that he wasn't happy that they were actually trying to bring back Mark, and he had no reason. He didn't want to play behind Mark, so that's why he jumped ship. And if that's the case, that's a big miss by the Raptors, because I feel if they have Serge, that's their back line. Their defense is a lot better. He can make his shots. You know, he's a big part of it. And what they have now with Baines and Len, it's not even like a quarter of what he was doing last year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Drew. And having seen what Baines and Len have provided here during their home games, you know, Baines had opportunities, especially in the second half against the Celtics. I mean, there was one stretch, like he missed 6 straight shots from inside 3 feet. I mean, he's right under the rim, and he missed 6 straight shots. I was like, what
Why
are you
not dunking it? If he's under the rim, go like Drew said, go to the hole.
Yeah,
Dunk
Go
it.
to the hole strong.
So
It's funny because
one thing they haven't done.
Funny. Go ahead.
I was saying, Drew, it's the one thing that they haven't done, and you're right that they play a lot of outside in. They're so reliant on Lowry and Van Fleet right now, and even we talk about Baines and you talk about Len, but Anunoby has struggled,
Yes.
in the to start the season, and I think that if you can't get solid production out of Anunoby or Baines, you've got to find something that does work. And right now, what they have coming off the bench, isn't to help Baines, or Lynn. It's to help Lowry and Van Fleet. Norman Powell, they're not bringing in Powell to replace Aaron Baines. They're not bringing in Boucher to replace Baines, although Boucher is bigger. But I'll tell you what, that kid is skinny. I don't know. Someone's got to feed him a sandwich. He's going to get run over by some of these big guys in the league.
Me and Drew talked about for years. If this guy put on only like 20 pounds, this guy could be a force. He could be a force. And one thing I'm going to say, and I haven't talked to any of you guys here, last year there was a swagger upon the Raptors. This year, they don't have a swagger. That's what they're missing. They don't have the swagger. And secondly, I'm going to ask Steve this question. Steve, you mentioned Tampa selling out 3,800 and all that. Could this lead this year with Raptors being in Tampa? Could this lead about somebody looking to get expansion team for Tampa?
I doubt it, only because the Magic are so close. You know,
Yeah,
how
the
many
territory,
places?
right?
How many places are, is there a team within,
New York.
well, you're talking about New York and Los Angeles. They're the two biggest.
Markets.
They're the two biggest markets in the United States, and New York New York. Those teams have been around since the Clippers. They came from Buffalo, and then the Nets came from the ABA. So they've both been around 40 plus years, back when territorial rights didn't exist. You look at how things are so different now. There's so much more money. When those teams came around, the NBA finals were all played on tape delay, for crying out loud. I mean, you certainly remember those days, Joe. I'm not sure, Drew and I have only heard about it. And
Oh yeah. All right. You're talking to Drew. You're not talking to Norm Rumack. All right. Okay. So look. Secondly, I'll ask Drew and Jess this, because we've been around the Raptors. Am I right, Drew? The swagger. They went and they won the championship, and the next year people were saying, oh, they're lucky or whatever. They wanted to prove last year that they belonged. This year, they're honestly, and we talked before off air here, they're 1-6. I don't know if they're going to beat Sacramento. They may beat Sacramento. Golden State, I don't believe. They played Golden State and Portland on the back-to-back. They come back to Tampa 1-9, 1-10.
Well, Jess, you want to go ahead first, and then I'll chime in.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what? Like, I think it's more so the confidence. That's what they're like. I see they're playing. I mean, again, it's the beginning, the start of the season. It all comes down to that. But I think they're lacking confidence right now. I think it goes all into that, right? So that's my little bit. Like, once they got that going, I think the swagger and everything will definitely come back.
Yeah, I agree. There's something off, and I think it stems from Pascal. His troubles, it seems, are affecting the teams. And I noticed this in the bubble. There was something off with him. His explosiveness wasn't there. One thing I'm happy to see, he's dunking again, and he seems to have a little bit more of a bounce. But that swagger, it hasn't been with the Raptors. You're right, Joe. Even against Boston in the series in the playoffs, I didn't find they had that confidence level. And I think, again, it has to do with Pascal. Their defense is nowhere near what it was in their last few years, as far as they really work together on a string, the Raptors, and they really have that coordination, and they're very in sync. Obviously, with a guy like Gasol, he's like a quarterback in the back. Serge, he makes up for your faults. When you get beat, the guards get beat up top. Guess what? Serge is there to not only block a shot, but alter a shot. And so that's, I think, where they need to do. They need to get back to a team game. I see too much hero ball from the Raptors. Everybody trying to be a hero, jacking up shots, trying to be the hero. Without a superstar, you have to move the ball around, kind of like that Detroit Pistons team, kind of like the Raptors team last year. Remember, Pascal was an all-star, Lowry was an all-star, but really and truly, this is a team. It's a real team, and they have to really take advantage of that. So I think if they can start to play together, string some stops together, play D first, don't let offense dictate their defense, I think they'll be much better off.
Okay,
After that, Twitter rant, with Twitter, I guess social everywhere about Pascal, what she wasn't playing well. I just feel like it really affected him, and it just went downhill from there. I think it's still affecting him, to this day. And that's probably one of the reasons why he's not playing that well. But there's no excuses, right, when it comes to professional ball.
Okay, so I want to go around the table. I know Drew's leaving in about 2 minutes. Thank you again, Drew, considering what's going on for showing up here. But I'm going to go around the table here. If they do get to 1-9, 1-10 or whatever, when do you press the panic button, and when do you consider, for Jess, it was a good question, Do you consider trading Pascal? Do you consider trading Lowry or Norman Powell or whatever? And if you're an NBA executive other than Toronto, do you know that the Raptors are panicking to make a trade? Do you give them the best player available, right? So let's start off with Steve, who's seen the Raptors live in person this year. Steve, go ahead.
Well, I don't think even if they come back 1-9, or 1-10, that you're ready to push the panic button just yet. I mean, they're going to come back, and in the middle of January, they've got a little easier of a schedule. They're going to see Charlotte on back-to-back nights. They're going to see some other teams coming up that I think that they've got a better shot at. They're going to. I know the Magic are really good this year. They're good. They've got 2 games against Sacramento. I think that they can do something there. But they're going to, once you get into the middle of January and then especially in February. I mean, they've got a stretch in February where they're going to play the Grizzlies, the Wizards, the T-Wolves. 3 out of 4 games, and then later on in the month they get the T-Wolves again, they get the Rockets, and they get the Bulls. So I mean, they've got an opportunity to get back into things, but they just they have to get back to playing what was successful Raptor basketball, and that only comes when they can start getting production in the paint. They don't start getting production in the paint, it's going to be a struggle.
Okay, just go ahead and I'll let Drew.
Definitely here with Steve, and I see, like, when it comes to them playing. Oh my god, I'm like losing my train of thought. I was so into your call, like I was listening. I'm like, really, yeah, Steve. But like when it comes down, I think like with oh my god, wow, I'm losing my train of thought, guys. What was your question again?
Well, yeah,
lost because look at I'm dressed in a suit. Come on, Drew. You ever see me in a suit like tied? Look at my hair. She's already
just
losing.
if you're coming back.
When it comes to winning, Restas, I remember. Oh my god, I'm like have 10 things in my head. But yeah, no, I definitely see them. Once they get like a superstar on the team, I can definitely see them winning. But as of now, I don't see anything much happening. So.
It's tough because obviously when they hit the West Coast, traditionally the Raptors haven't had good West Coast trips, but lately, the last few years they've done a bit better when they've gone out west. Again, they got to just take it down, guys, to the basics. And they're not a team right now that can be looking ahead to any game. I mean, you take that first game and you worry about that first game, and then you take that second game and you worry about that second game. I'm a bit shocked OG hasn't played better. I think if he can step up, that is a big difference for them. Norm is kind of always a traditional slow starter. He looks like he's starting to kind of pick it up. But again, they got to play one game at a time. And really, the Raptors went all in to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. They thought they had a real big shot, and that left this team right now, undermanned. But I don't think they're a team that should be in the bottom half of the league at all. I just think they're not playing up to their potential. And you know what? They're kind of playing. Don't you guys see? They're playing like kind of like a team that won a championship, and it's like when we come to an arena or we're playing a team, they need to respect us. We're the champs. But I think someone said, I think it was Kyle that said it, to win in the NBA is very difficult. And you cannot overlook a team because the 30th team in the league can beat any team, can beat the first team. And so for them, no one's going to give them the respect just because they're 2019 champions. As Joe said, get back your swagger. Remember what got you. Remember when you were 19-6 without Kawhi or whatever the record was. Remember what got you those wins. Remember how you played as a team. And I think, again, stop playing hero ball. Put the pressure right from the get-go on the defense to make plays. And that means get to the paint, like what Steve said.
All right, Drew, I know you got to go here, but tell everybody how to get a hold of you on Point Basketball.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Sure.
Again,
on Point Basketball on Instagram.
Family and
Things are Sorry, Joe.
And once again, condolences to your family and everything like that. Again, but go
Appreciate
ahead,
it.
Drew. Sorry.
Appreciate it. Yeah. My mom's funeral will be next Friday. So for all the people who I know, friends and family, we'll be sending out the link there. But yeah, you know what it is, man. It's life. It's life. Unfortunately, we all have to go through it at some point. And I think the amazing thing about my mom is I wouldn't be where I am without her. And number one for her was, hard work hard, and good things will happen. And I think I tell all the young people as well, nothing comes easy. Nothing that you want comes just like that. You have to put in time. You got to put in a lot of time that you might call free time, volunteer time, or it's not even free time. All it is you're building your brand, you're building your craft. And I think that's kind of what I take from her. And the amazing thing is, when I first started playing basketball, she knew nothing about the sport. And then after, she became this huge Raptors fan, where she would print the schedule off and have the schedule before the season started, and she would know exactly when the games were coming on. So, she was happy. She was elated when the Raptors won. So that's what I remember her the most, turning her into a basketball fan, and then she becoming a bigger fan almost than me. So you can definitely see some of her in me, and you can catch us On Point Basketball on Instagram, Drew Eubanks on Twitter, and On Point Basketball on Facebook and YouTube as well. We got a new website we're working on right now as well. The On Point Scouting Service is coming up for boys and girls in the high school side and college, university. So we're trying to do some stuff, and we're trying to work. It's a tough time with Corona, but we're trying to make things happen.
And check out that sweet shirt that Drew is wearing. And shout out
Check
to
out my
Jay
shirt,
Dilla,
baby.
Check
Shout
out
to
Jay
my
Dilla.
guy.
Jay Dilla. By the way, one of the best
producer ever in hip hop.
One of the best hip hop albums the last 15 years.
Donuts. That's right. Make sure you get your donuts.
That's right. Because I can't stand to see you cry.
Dude. Oh man, Steve, we got a politic, man. That's dope. That's dope.
Drew,
I got a license plate, by the way. My license plate is J Dilla. I have an extra set now. I took it off my old car.
Before
you
leave, Drew, Steve, before you came on, made a impassioned speech about what happened yesterday in Washington. I know you have family in the States and everything. Do you care to make a comment about what happened yesterday in Washington?
Me?
Yes.
It's a tough world we live in, being a person of color. I know the struggles, even with being with On Point Basketball. I can see where we get overlooked when I don't think we should get overlooked. There's a lot of reasons for it, but privilege is there. And I think yesterday, really, really, the world, if you didn't know that there was white privilege, that just showed you right there. Because I'll tell you, trying to get into a Raptor game, or without your ticket or without your accreditation, there's 1,000 times more harsher security than what I saw there. And the fact that people were able to walk inside, to break, this is not a Burger King, it's not a McDonald's. This is the seat of your government. This is the center of the universe, essentially. And to see people able to walk in there, finding, how did they find Pelosi's office, to get to the Capitol where they were doing the voting, and to see the fright. And the fact is, there could have been a mass casualty event. They could have taken out the whole US government yesterday. And to me, it's a travesty. I cry for America because, I hate to say this, racism overrides everything. And I've been down there. I have family there. And I pretty much live down there all the time. I'm back and forth. And racism has to be stamped out. Bias has to be stamped out. And again, you picture any other brown, black, Asian, Muslim people having a march and even trying to attempt to get to the Capitol steps. and you might have seen a massacre there. And to see people going and doing what they did, and desecrating somewhere so sacred as the Capitol building, I'm so upset. I'm saddened. But again, now the world sees. The world is just laid out to bear. The privilege is unreal, and the fact they got in, did the damage, and walked out, and some were even escorted down steps. I don't know what else to say, man. The world saw it. I don't know. America can't really tell other countries about democracy anymore. That's all I can say. You can't say nothing anymore after that.
And another, like Steve, a very, very well said, Drew. Steve, you want to make echo those comments or anything like that?
And they're anti-American. Sorry to say this.
Yeah.
Those people, that's not what America is. America is not perfect. You know, I'm very grateful for a lot of things in America, but those people that went and did that yesterday, those are not Americans, man, because true Americans would never desecrate that, you know, very, very shrine. It's a shrine of the government of America. And, you know, they would never do that.
It's the seat of power. It deserves your respect, and they desecrated it. There's no other way of putting it. And you're absolutely right, Drew. They desecrated the seat of government, and for them to do that and say that they're doing it in the name of freedom and democracy is a slap in the face to anybody who has lived in a free democratic world.
And Drew, I don't know if you were on, but Steve, maybe you want to repeat it for Drew. I think it's you should repeat it to everybody who's watching and listening to this right now, especially Drew, because Drew has no idea. Tell everybody before you became a broadcaster what you were doing. Drew,
yeah,
this.
I'm a military veteran, and yesterday I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be an American for the first time in my life, you know, and having gone overseas and having represented my country in foreign lands. Yeah, I was embarrassed to be an American in my own country.
Very well said, Steve. Again, sorry. And for people who are watching this in the United States, come on. If 2020 is not hard enough, now I know it's 2021 or whatever, but we're still dealing with a pandemic. Come on. It's your own people going and you know what? I'm going to say it. I'm not American. The president of the United States.
Oh, we know.
What like
on.
Steve, come on. Like unbelievable. And you know what? Everybody is worried. He has 2 weeks left. What's he gonna do in this 2 weeks? I don't know how he didn't get impeached last night. Last night, when they killed people, people actually died
In that building.
Unbelievable. But all right, again, condolences to you, Drew, and your family. And Drew, very stand-up guy. Drew Ebanks, On Point Basketball, hardest guy for basketball. There would not be a Toronto Raptors if it wasn't for guys like Drew, myself, even Norm Rumax, putting everybody.
He's gonna throw himself in there, but
I gotta look. I've been a tie. Come on.
I want to know what the judge said, Joe. So no, but Drew, of course, Mr. No Days Off himself, and we love Drew, and absolutely. So condolences to you, my friend. We'll definitely catch up here soon, and we'll have to break down some hip hop one of these days.
Oh, man.
Next week, you're more than welcome, Drew. Next week, Steve's going to be on here. I haven't even talked to Steve about it. He'll be on Barn Burner Live with Jess and me. He'll talk about hip hop and all. You know what? You talked about hip hop. Come on, Snoop Dogg jumping the top rope yesterday, Steve, on AEW. Snoop Dogg did a frog splash. Come on, even though he didn't land good, but whatever.
I mean, he's that's probably the first time he's ever done that. I wonder.
Dropped it like it was hot. That's what it is. Come on. All right. Thanks a lot, Drew.
Right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Drew.
All right, guys. See you next week. Take care.
Drew Ebanks, On Point Basketball. Thank you, Drew. OnPointBasketball.com. We're going to be joined by another guest here. We're going to talk a little bit of hockey, but again, Steve Carney in Tampa. Jessica Singh, the new co-host of Barn Burner Live, and very, very, Drew, was great to be back there, to come there. And you can see him right now, Justin Levine. We're going to talk about, Steve, you're the only American here, okay? I don't know if you know this, on Tuesday night, America played Team Canada A in the World Juniors in Canada. Steve Carney, can you tell them what was the score?
I have no idea because
What?
we don't follow junior hockey here in the United States. You know, we don't have we don't have junior hockey leagues. You know, I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I know what the OHL and the was it the QMJHL
Major Junior Hockey League. Come on.
Yeah, like I'm lucky. I'm lucky if I know what those are. I don't know any of the teams, but I know that they exist.
This is why, Steve, no offense there. I brought Justin Levine, who's going to talk about World Juniors, ladies hockey, his love for the Montreal Canadiens. Yes,
Blech.
Steve, the Montreal Le Habitant. And the Habitant. Goal,
Yeah.
Le Bout.
We thank you for Mikhail Sergachev, by the way.
Yeah, I'm still not over that. I'm never going to be over that.
All right. So, Justin, give us, of course, you were covering it for Puck Authority, your company, and Barn Burner here. World Juniors, what do you think went wrong for Team Canada?
Nothing went wrong for them. I'm actually going to set up a light to see me a little bit better. Yeah, nothing went wrong for them. They had a perfect tournament. So the only thing that went wrong is I think they were so burnt out by the final game that it just, essentially their energy exploded and turned into a big fat blob of nothing. And that's what, in the end, with America's defense, kind of cut them short. So it wasn't a pretty ending, but they had a wonderful run, and it was fun to watch them, only win rather than win loss, that kind of thing.
Do you think it's better that USA won for hockey?
I don't know if there's one good way to answer that, but I think it gave the U.S. something to celebrate this year, in a year that's been, it's been challenging everywhere. The U.S. has faced unreal circumstances with their president, and then we saw yesterday some other things go down in the U.S. So if you look at it from the perspective at least they had 24 hours to celebrate something, sure. But it would have been nice to say as a Canadian we won too. But all we can be is proud for having had a team represent us with such grit, tenacity, and courage, and have a perfect tournament as they did.
All right, and for those who are wondering, 2022, it's going to happen again in Edmonton. So Canada, by the way, I'm going on a limb. Canada will win the gold medal next year. One of these things are going to happen, Steve, next year. Canada's going to win the gold medal in 2022. The Buffalo Bills are going to win the Super Bowl this year, 2021. The Maple Leafs will win the Stanley Cup. And me and Mandy Rose will get married. Which one do you believe, Steve?
Think you got a better shot with Mandy Rose.
All right, no wonder I'm in a shirt and tie. Come on. All right.
What did the judge tell you?
The judge says I'm going to get married to Mandy Rose, and the Leafs are going to. Never mind. All right, Justin.
Judge said 50 feet.
Justin, Sweden. Okay, best regulation. They're a very good team. Okay, how many years after year after year after year do they not? They're like the Maple Leafs. Do they not produce in the playoffs? Or I guess in round, like in quarterfinals, semifinals, finals.
Yeah, it is some sort of repetitive thing that we continue to see and there's no, here's the thing, there's no good reason for why that happens. It just seems that they never can make it past the next round after the preliminary round is finished. And they had the talent this year in Lucas Raymond and Alexander Holtz to be able to do it. Two guys who are of extreme talent. Holtz is a prospect of the Devils, and I believe Raymond was also drafted this year, where to I can't remember. But point being, they had the talent to do it this year. Their goaltender was very strong. Actually, both of them were quite good. But I just think that again, with the COVID-19 struggles that Team Sweden faced, they had the most trouble once they arrived in Edmonton. Out of any team, Germany would have been the second comparable to them. I think that definitely played an effect on chemistry for boys who've never been there before at the tournament and clicking with those guys who had been. And I think that that mix just wasn't working. And the fact that some of these guys didn't play until at least game 3 also caused an issue. Never mind the fact that as well, contributing to this year is the fact their head coach back in Sweden before the tournament during their selection camp period, he was taken out due to COVID-19 along with 3 other staffers of the team. So that led to a challenge. And what the IIHF originally said was, if this happens and your coach should go down for any reason, you cannot replace your coach. But in any logical world, they couldn't go without a coach. So they found a coach on like 24 hours notice. And this guy had to get familiar with this team and arrive in Edmonton and figure out how to put this together. And then the coach had to quarantine along with some of his players who had fallen ill. So a team doctor was running the skates. Yeah, a team doctor. So a lot of things I could crack jokes at, but I feel bad for them in all honesty. And that COVID-19 situation definitely did not help.
All right, that's Justin Levine. Justin is, I'm going to say this, the king of ladies hockey. We got the new co-host of Barn Burner Live, Jessica Singh here. Jessica, come on, ladies hockey. You want to talk about ladies hockey? Go ahead.
Take me through the NWHL bubble.
Okay, so the NWHL bubble, it's as fancy and elaborate as it sounds. I'll start with the fact that it's taking place at the H.E.R. Brooks Arena, site of the Miracle on Ice, in Lake Placid, New York. It gets going January.
Do you believe in miracles?
I've been there.
I believe in miracles.
You've been there, Steve?
I've been there. Yep.
For what?
Well, I used to live in upstate New York, so I've visited Lake Placid a number of times. You can not only go to the H.E.R. Brooks Arena, which is the site of the 1980 Miracle on Ice, but you can also, it's still up and running, go to the 1932 Pavilion, the first time that the Winter Olympics came to Lake Placid, and you can skate there as well.
I've heard that, actually. I think that's really neat.
And Steve was 6 years old in 1932, but go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, so it's taking place at the H.E.R. Brooks Arena in Lake Placid, gets going January 23rd, and it will be 5 games. Each team plays against each other once, and then there's essentially a play-in round like the NHL did for their playoffs during the summer, and then that will be followed right into the semifinal round, which will consist of 4 teams, and then that'll take down to 2 teams, obviously, for the finals. Now, there's a lot of ins and outs of this tournament. The ins are it gives women's hockey a real stage to put themselves on, and usually with the NWHL, and I mentioned this with Eduardo a couple nights ago, is that you don't usually see in NWHL arenas the team logos at center ice, and that's just because they're playing in community arenas or what have you. Usually you'll see the NHL team because most of these NWHL teams are playing in arenas where the NHL team in that city belongs for their practice sessions. Anyways, the only team that is not is the Toronto Six, but that's besides the point. Anyways, so it gives the NWHL a real stage to play in, number 1. Number 2 is NBC will be airing the semifinals and the finals. That has never happened before. And whereas the CWHL had Sportsnet for a couple games here and there over the years, not the same thing. So definitely a big thing for the US. I'm told that Canada is still trying to figure something out what that might look like. I couldn't tell you because to me,
anybody who's watching this on NWHL, Justin Levine will do the commentating, bring it to the Barn Burner TV network. Color commentator will be Jessica Singh. There you go. Anybody watching an NWHL, okay? So there you go. Jessica, I know you had a question about Toronto 6, right?
Toronto 6, no, actually, I wasn't over how John Tory is on board with the Maple Leafs playing home games in Toronto. How do you feel about that, Justin?
Okay, so here's where things get. I usually say the word complicated, but I'm a little bit salty. So,
salty. I mean, the passion is coming out of Justin Levine. Steve, wake up! You can't believe the passion. Finally, I see Giancarlo has no passion. Here, come on, Justin, give me the passion.
I'm a little salty, and I spoke about this with Joe at length a couple weeks ago, and I sent him a statement from John Tory that
of course, he cuts out now.
John Tory.
Overflowing passion.
Yeah. he's got. Hopefully, we.
There was energy through the camera. Clearly,
Yeah,
so strong that it froze.
Way to go, Bell Internet.
Go ahead, Justin. I think we got you back. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure if I was lost. Okay,
No,
The
go.
passion. See, nobody wants to see you have passion. Go ahead.
okay, as long as
Okay, that's where you stopped.
you can hear me, I'll try this again. So, look, it sucks that the Toronto Six can't play here, and the fact that they weren't even recognized for a little bit as a pro team just because they hadn't hit the ice officially in Canada also sucked, because that meant that they couldn't practice, and or at least for this new lockdown that was instated, and the ownership had to get into that from what I was hearing to get them back on the ice. Anyways, they're back on the ice, no problem now, but that should never be the case. That should happen. And again, I understand the border scenario, and again, there's a Canadian division for the NHL, but whereas in the NWHL, the Toronto Six are the only Canadian team, it just wasn't doable. So I think a lot of that was why the Lake Placid bubble was even of discussion. Originally, they were planning elsewhere and just to play it at one of the other cities' arenas and form something of a protected environment. But I think that this in the end again gives women's hockey the big stage that it deserves. So it kind of sucks. And I wish I could be there and cover the team live and see Digit Murphy in action, but that'll wait another year maybe, again, if Digit decides to return.
So Jessica, I'm going to ask you this as the only lady on the panel here. What do you think of the name Toronto Six?
Toronto Six, you know what? It's okay. It's just like, we're known now like as a six in Toronto, but why put Toronto Six together?
Well, I'm asking you a question. So are you happy with the name? Or are you not?
I'm asking it back to you, Joe. But like what I'm trying to say to you is, six in Toronto, it just doesn't make sense. I'm not happy with the name. No. Are you?
For me, hockey is hockey. You're in Toronto. Is there any other team than Steve's team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? So the
woman or something in there. So when when someone says, "Hey, Toronto Six," that it's a women's hockey league.
I'll ask you this, Steve. Steve, I'll ask you, Toronto Six. What do you think?
I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I understand where you're going with it because Toronto is the Six, and there are 6 players on the ice. I get all of that, but they could have done something with that to make it. I think you could have made it a little more special and a little more showing that yes, these are women playing at the highest level in hockey. And the Six just doesn't do it for me.
All right. So we talked about junior. We talked about ladies. Now let's get to the National Hockey League. All right. Justin, all Canadian division. I don't care what they're going to say. The Scotiabank North Division, the Honda West Division, the Pizza, whatever division, whatever. All right. Give me your
They
top.
should just call the Anne Murray Division.
The Anne Murray Division. Okay, Steve. Single Canada now. Single Canada now.
I'll sing Blame Canada.
Yeah, blame US. Come on, look what happened yesterday. Look. All right. So, Justin, top teams in the North Division. Let's get to it.
Okay, so the Montreal Canadiens have a very rebuilt roster, and through the first couple days of their training camp in Brossard, Quebec, that is certainly showing when we see Tyler Toffoli, who has already scored a couple. Corey Perry is here, and then along with Corey Perry is Michael Frolik, I believe is his name. There's some other depth pieces, but I like the direction this organization is going, and I've heard as well that Caden Gooley is at least there for their training camp, and he's from the WHL. Then he'll presumably stick around with the Laval Rocket in the AHL as part of a CHL-AHL agreement, given that the CHL again is definitely on delay, at least the O and W. But point being, Montreal Canadiens #1.
Great. This guy's a Hab fan. Of course he's going to pick the Montreal #1. Next, Jessica's going to pick Vancouver #1. All right. And Tampa's going to be #1. Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead. I'm very disappointed with you. I'm a little bit salty at that. Come on.
It's not going to be Toronto. Let's face it. They're not. I'd put Toronto maybe 4, maybe 5.
What?
So that being said, I put Vancouver.
You're gonna give Joe a heart attack, Justin.
Yeah, you're gonna give Joe a heart attack.
I'm not a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. I just, it was never something that was given to me. So I'm not going to, right there and say Toronto. They've essentially done nothing this offseason along with the Winnipeg Jets. So
what are you talking about? A 70-year-old player nobody else has. What are you talking about? Joe
okay,
Thornton, come on.
they made like 2 moves: Wayne Simmons, Joe Thornton. What else do they do? Not much besides that. So, and
Troy Brody is a good pickup. Come on.
okay, TJ Brody, I'll give you that. He's a decent player. So maybe I put Toronto in 4. I think that
I think here's what you need to know, Justin. The Toronto Maple Leafs needed to find someone who could skate. And what do? They signed Joe Thornton, a guy who can't skate.
That's what
Come on, Joe.
What's that going to do? Like, you need
I
someone.
like his first name. What do you want? I gotta celebrate with all
You
the
like
shows,
his
man.
beard. You like his beard making.
Oh, I don't like. I'm clean. No. All right, go ahead. So 4th is Maple Leafs, 1st is Montreal, 2nd.
Second, Edmonton Oilers, or maybe Vancouver. Actually, I actually am kind of a fan of what Vancouver did this offseason, and I'm curious to see how that works out. So then I'll put Edmonton in 3rd. Winnipeg easily last. That's not even a question in my mind.
Or is it Ottawa last?
No, Ottawa actually rebuilt, and they're doing something that, for the love of God, I don't think any of us saw coming. So, I think that's going to be maybe the next miracle on ice, the fact that they've done something and can get themselves closer to the playoffs. So, for that reason, I'm going to put Ottawa 5th, and that leaves me with again Winnipeg in 7th, and then 6th. Calgary. And Calgary, they're kind of the middleman because they haven't done a lot, but they've made a couple minorish moves, kind of like Toronto. If you look again at Thornton, who I don't think was a good pickup because he even went overseas to HC Davos in Switzerland and essentially did nothing while he was there. So, you look at that. Wayne Simmons, he's, getting old, so who knows which way that goes. So really, TJ, my only thing that I see Toronto did. So that's why I'm putting Toronto perhaps lower than you'd like to hear, just because overall the consensus of what they did, I get Kyle Dubas's direction, but this just ain't it. So I just don't see it.
All right. So thank you for your opinion, Justin. All right.
Great.
Thank you for your opinion, Justin. Now beat it.
I don't know where I should go. Steve or Jess? Jess, top team in the North Division. Go ahead.
North Division and mean hockey? You're asking the wrong person, Joe. You're asking the wrong person.
I'll give you a hint. It starts with a T, ends with an O, and Vancouver 2nd. Okay, that's
really Toronto and Canucks. So you're saying Maple Leafs and the Canucks?
Yeah, 1-2. There you go. See,
sure.
She agrees, Steve. She agrees.
Sure.
See,
Justin's like no.
Yeah. See, and this is why I go Edmonton. I think you're going to see another MVP type season from Connor McDavid, and I think that when you look at what, and I know that Justin has Montreal near the top, I think it starts at the goal mouth. And as much as, this, you're not going to have Carey Price in his prime sitting there in the goal mouth. And I think that's going to be a big question mark for the Canadiens early in this season. I think you're going to get your answer very quickly as to how the defense, and I think if the defense can hang, I think that you're gonna find Montreal in good shape. But I really like what Edmonton has done over the course of the last couple of years. They're so fast; it's amazing how fast that they play. And I just think Connor McDavid, he's the best player in hockey for a reason. And I think that this is the year that Edmonton could make a very deep run in the postseason.
Okay, so I'm going to go, and we'll talk about this near the end of the show, but we'll go around the table. I'll start off with Justin. Give me your Stanley Cup pick.
Stanley Cup pick. Jeez, that's a hard question.
Very good question. Jess thought of those, so she wants to know the Stanley Cup pick. She's scared to, because she doesn't want to hear you say Montreal in the final. Go ahead.
I'd like to say Montreal, but again, their goaltending, like Steve mentioned, is the only thing of not major concern, but it's not the smallest concern they have. So I'm worrisome about how Carey Price will do. So I don't want to say that that's going to lead them in the Stanley Cup Finals. And look how history has essentially told me that. So That's not going to happen. And I'm okay to, willingly recognize that. I say they get into the first round of playoffs, then they're done. That's my best for them. So for that reason, I will go Edmonton. They are my, I can't think of the word I want to say. They're my second Canadian team that I go to usually. And with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, I mean, look, they're such a strong team. So I could see Edmonton going to the Stanley Cup final, and I want to say Washington gives them a run for their money.
What about the New York Rangers? How are you feeling about that?
I feel concerned about Alexis Lafreniere. Especially because Alexis Lafreniere, like history has shown the last couple NHL drafts, high draft picks for whatever reason end up just being duds and doing nothing. And while I'd like to see him succeed as someone who covers the CHL, if he does well, then these Canadian teams have a problem on their hands, and that could be a force to be reckoned with a team like Edmonton. Should my prediction be right? But yeah, Alexis Lafreniere is someone I'm going to be keeping my eye on because, again, if you look at the way history's shown itself, Jack Hughes, New Jersey, nothing. Then you go past further drafts, Nico H.E.R in New Jersey, nothing. So, that's a coin flip. It could go either way.
All right, Jess, what's your Stanley Cup pick?
I definitely agree with Justin as well. I'm looking at Edmonton Oilers. They're doing a nice job filling in the highlights that I know. That run Connor McDavid, and they're doing well. So I'm definitely going to go with Edmonton Oilers.
All right, and other side, anybody? Edmonton against. You like to go to Vegas? No, come on, Edmonton or any other team there. How about Steve's team repeating as Stanley Cup champions? Jess?
Oh right, yes, I agree. Right, Steve?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that I get my hat in the show as much as possible.
That hat is Tampa, but you know what Tampa's colors are? Blue and white, stolen from God's team, the Toronto Maple Leaf. Go ahead, Steve.
God's forsaken team is more like it. But that's another story for another time. Here's the thing about the playoffs. The playoffs this year are going to be so strange because everything's going to be reseeded. The first round of the playoffs is going to be interdivisional, so it's 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 in each division, and then everything's going to get reseeded. So really, it's so difficult to say, okay, I want it to be this team against that team because the way that the seedings are going to work this year, you could have some crazy ass postseason. I mean, you could have, an East versus a West. You could have an East versus a North. You could have a North versus a Central. It's so crazy to think that you could have a North versus an East versus a Central just because of the way that the seedings are going. It's going to be real crazy this year how it's going to work out. I love me. Goaltending wins championships. Best goaltender normally is going to be hoisting the Stanley Cup. You saw Jordan Binnington with St. Louis a couple of years ago. He was the best goaltender from January 2nd on. He ends up hoisting the Stanley Cup. Andrei Vasilevsky last year, the best goaltender in the league. He ends up hoisting the Stanley Cup. I look at this year. I'm going to go with a couple of experienced guys that have experience in winning Stanley Cups. So I'm looking at, of course, Tampa Bay. Even without Nikita Kucherov for the regular season, they're going to get him back for the postseason run. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But I think that it's going to be interesting to see what happened. There was a lot of questions about what they were going to do with Tyler Johnson. Thank God they kept Tyler Johnson because now Tyler's going to get some serious minutes on a top line. He'll probably end up on the number 2 line because of it. The other team that really is I'm kind of intrigued by is Washington. I think Justin's right about that. Bringing in a guy like Zdeno Chara to pair with Ovechkin. You've got Braden Holtby, again, former Vezina Trophy winner, in net. I think that the way that the East looks this year, the Rangers. You mentioned Lafreniere, but again, starts with the goal mouth. No King Henrik for the Rangers. I think that you're gonna have to wonder if that young kid is going to be able to handle a 76 game schedule for the NHL. I like the Islanders, but I'm not convinced that the Islanders. I think the Bruins take a step back. I think that Pittsburgh is getting older. Philadelphia, I'm not really convinced can take that next step. So really, to me, it's Tampa Bay, it's Washington, and it's another year that a Canadian team does not hoist the Stanley Cup.
Number one, I'm going to guarantee you this.
He's guaranteeing things.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Here we go.
Serious.
It's a guaranteed. Okay.
I'll write this down.
I know who is not winning the Stanley Cup. Write this down. I know who's not winning the Stanley Cup.
Who's not? Okay,
Yes.
let's hear
The
this.
Tampa Bay Lightning will not win this year's Stanley Cup.
Wow.
More. And Mark,
Oh.
I am guaranteed 1,000%. I'll give $1,000 if this happens to Jess, because she's the only lady here. The Seattle,
Okay.
the Seattle Kraken will not win the Stanley Cup. Just take a look. Seattle Kraken will not win the Stanley Cup this year. Take it to the bank. Steve's drinking. Watch. See,
I am
do you
drinking.
all agree? Yes, the Seattle Kraken will not win the Stanley Cup, right, Steve?
Oh, the Seattle Kraken will certainly not win the Stanley Cup this year.
He
but
agrees with me.
I'm interested to see what the Kraken do in their arena. The Leiweke family, Todd Leiweke, who is running the Seattle Kraken, is a longtime friend of mine. I've known Todd a long time. He used to be the alternate governor and the chief operating officer here in Tampa Bay, so he has some deep hockey roots. And I think that Seattle is going to, this one team coming in. I think Vegas has broken things. And I want to see how the expansion draft changes because of what Vegas did with the expansion draft. We saw, people making deals, with the Golden Knights saying, "Hey, if you take this person, we'll throw this person in as well." The Lightning did that to make sure that they didn't get one of their young guys taken, and they gave him Jason Garrison instead. It worked out for Gerard Gallant and the crew there.
All right, Justin, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you. And of course, Justin will be on top of the NWHL bubble. Hopefully, our friends Digit Murphy, the coach of president of Toronto 6, will do us proud. And Digit, look at my eyes. I need a ring. I like, we like big things. We like big rings. All right. Somebody said it. Okay.
So for the 6, Joe, are you doing this?
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
What's happening?
It's undisputed. It's undisputed, Steve. Undisputed.
3-3 at 6.
Yeah, it's undisputed. All right, Justin, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
You guys can get a hold of me at Justin Levine HBS on Twitter. That's really my primary platform, at Puck31, for continuous coverage of the Toronto 6 and random things hockey. Mostly Montreal Canadiens aside from women's hockey. So look out for that as the NHL season comes up, and there'll be some podcasts with some really great guests in the coming days on the writer/personality side. So I'm starting to look forward to it. And then next week, I have a couple of plans for players and hosts as well. So lots to look forward to.
All right, Justin.
Amazing.
For joining us.
Looking forward to that, Justin.
Thank you. I will be back on another Barn Burner Live. And
Yay!
Attaboy.
Has all these shows here on the Barn Burner TV network. Go ahead, run the shows down as your last promo here. Go ahead.
Sure. The NWHL Cool Down takes place at 2:30 on Tuesdays, followed immediately by PWPA Over the Glass, which goes at 3:30. And then on Wednesdays, I have the OHL Experience at 1:30. And then at 2:30 immediately following is Six and Sticks. Again, hoping to have a player on that. And I am also going to be doing some work with the Toronto 6. So might even have more players coming on in the coming 2 weeks or so before the bubble.
And Steve just texted me, how about giving Justin a Hab show? La Habadon. So Justin.
Yeah, but you have to do it in French.
Yeah, that's where I'm no good. So I'm going to pass.
Les habitants de numéro 1.
Oh my God, I'm dying now.
We are the last team that was around when the NHL was formed in 1917. Come
Oh
on.
my God.
Not
Love
even
it.
the Maple Leafs were there in 1917. They showed up a little later.
Oh God.
I was saying it was point. I think it
That
was
was the
great.
best.
On
That was
point.
the best. And
On
he got
point.
taught he got taught that by Kevin Owens. All right. Justin, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And we'll have you back here anytime. And stay tuned for Justin with all the coverage from the NWHL bubble there in Lake Placid. And hopefully, all kidding aside, hopefully Digit and the Toronto Six ladies bring home a championship, the only championship Toronto will see since 1967 in hockey.
Very
Stick
long.
taps, Justin. Stick taps.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Justin. We're going to be joined in another few seconds. I mentioned this by the hottest free agent. I'm not going to reveal who it is, but yeah, Steve. Okay, you talked about undisputed. You talked about Le Habitant, Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens taught you, which that just doesn't know what we're talking about. Okay, that's the thing. Before we're joined by the mystery guest here, Steve, I got to ask you. New Japan Pro Wrestling, your thoughts about night 1 and night 2. I know Jess was staying up at 4:00 in the morning watching New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Totally.
Yeah, 2 a.m. starts on the East Coast for Wrestle Kingdom 15 at live from the Tokyo Dome. The first wrestling main shows for 2021 with fans. They had 20,000 people at the Tokyo Dome.
No.
20,000 people at the Tokyo Dome for the events. Now,
but how did it work with COVID and whatnot?
It's amazing what they did. All of the seats, they had seats on the field and also in the seating bowl. They made sure there was no cheering at all. So there was no voice cheering. So you couldn't speak. So it was all they had thunder sticks and it was applause, but no sounds from the mouth. So very strange. Everybody wore masks for the whole thing, and everybody was socially distanced through the whole thing. I mean, they had it inside of a giant baseball stadium. So they did a really good job with it. And I was impressed with the 2 nights that they did. It's the second year that they've had 2 nights to do Wrestle Kingdom. The first night we saw Kota Ibushi, the Golden Star, win the double championship away from Tetsuya Naito, and then on the second night defend it against the Switchblade Jay White from New Zealand. I thought a really well put together card. I always think Wrestle Kingdom might be the best put together card in all of wrestling every year, and that includes WrestleMania. Yeah. So I think it's that good.
And Steve, I went on here about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, almost a year, saying WrestleMania will not happen in California. It will not happen in California. It will happen at Raymond James Stadium. Me and Jess want to come in and crash your place there. I see a TV stand. I see there for WrestleMania.
Yeah, we got my TV there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
WrestleMania.
My 40-inch TV. That's all I got.
Come on. Hey, wait, Jess wants
your PS5?
Exactly.
No PS5 yet. Have not been able to find a PS5 to save my life.
No
PS5.
I can find you one. I can possibly find you one.
I'm sure you can hook me up. I seem to remember that a certain cousin has one. So you can always,
he knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And so I was like, okay, I can trust him because he's my cousin, right? So
it'll be good.
All right, so you can see we're joined by one of the hottest free agents on the Barn Burner TV network, Charleston Hughes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I hope y'all ready for this right now.
Attaboy.
Charleston, I want to introduce you with the guy with the hat is Steve Carney from Tampa Bay, Florida.
Right.
Okay. Good to see you.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the house.
They're going to get whooped.
Really?
Yes, guaranteed.
And the new host of the show, Jessica Singh. Jess.
Hi, Charleston.
Nice to
meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I'll give you the choice for the first question to Charleston. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you know what, Charleston, nice to have you. Star player in the football league. You know, as you know, the whole league got shut down, and with the approval, the NHL is playing, and CFL is still in limbo. How do you feel about that?
I mean, really, you got to just take it how it is. Just take it how it comes. You got to really train, work out, prepare like there is going to be a season. I mean, to be honest, I just got off a phone call right now, a conference call with a bunch of, CFL players and players from other teams, representatives, and you just got to really just prepare for the worst and prepare for the best at the same time. So whatever that means, you just got to be able to make it happen, I guess you can say. It's unfortunate. I mean, a lot of other leagues didn't really go through this, didn't have a shutdown or whatnot, but we did. So I guess it gives people time to venture down different, paths, different alleys of what you want to do. You got to be creative with your time.
Since I'm going to be the advocate for Charleston, he does not want to say, he wants to be politically correct. So I'll say it. What's up with the government of Canada? If you're not hockey, you're not nothing here in Canada. These guys bleed. They break legs, torn Achilles. Sorry, Drew. Torn Achilles, noses, break everything, shoulders and all that. But they're not good because they're not playing hockey. The Canadian Football League doesn't recognize them or doesn't want them to play in a bubble or in Saskatchewan or Vancouver or Winnipeg. But if you were playing with a stick, Charleston, playing with a stick and skating, you'll be playing not this year, last year, the year before. What's up with that? Okay.
Well, you know what? The only way I can rebuttal that is saying that hockey didn't play in Canada. They didn't play a season in Canada at all, did they?
Yes, they did. They played the bubble in Toronto and Edmonton.
Well, I'll take that back then. You know what I mean? So, all I can say is, you know what? More power to you. It's about the hierarchies of pay grade. Hockey is on a different pay scale than what we are. We have a different budget than they do. So you got to work with what you got, really. If we don't got the budget for it, we don't got the budget for it.
Charleston, I got a question for you. Having lost a year to the pandemic, how much more difficult has it been to keep your body in shape? I mean, you're not the young buck that won the Grey Cup your first time around in Calgary.
Not your age, come on, the guy's only 26.
Not my age. No, of course he's not my age. I mean, for crying out loud, I saw Noah sail the ark, for crying out loud. But I'm also never been a professional athlete, and having been around professional athletes for a large chunk of my life, I know it gets more difficult as the years go on, as the seasons pile on, to keep your body in shape. And I know that you want to have a 2021 season in the CFL. So what have you done? What have you added? What have you changed in your regimen to keep your body healthy to play another season in the CFL?
Well, I mean, I know it's not going to be a league. I mean, a season from last year. I kind of anticipated it. I still kept up with my physical fitness and kept going as much as I can. I mean, I'll be an idiot to say it's not hard, but at the same time, me being an older player and, being in this league for so long, rest was good for me. It was good to finally sit back and be able to go golfing, be able to do the things that I wanted to do, be able to just chill. I lived a normal person life for a little bit.
There you go.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Attaboy.
Now that I got a chance to get a feel for, what it is life after football, a lot of guys, they struggle with that, having to go into life after football, and then you get hit with something of reality that's you never been hit before. So, I mean, I kept myself in shape. It's hard having to get up and get the want to the older you get. I just find that, I mean, even working out today, I find that when I look at myself in the mirror and I go, I'm 37 years old, you got to be able to tell yourself something. You got to look, you can only answer to yourself at one point in time. So if I wake up in the morning and look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm going to just go sit down and eat a cheeseburger, I know that ain't the best thing. That ain't the
No.
best thing to do for myself. So you got to be able to motivate yourself in whatever way possible. Find a way to get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been taking Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I've been taking
Attaboy.
kickboxing.
Okay.
So I'm ready to whoop some
Keep
ass
yourself
right
fit.
now. Really, I
Yeah.
might go straight into MMA. You never know what's gonna happen. So I'm prepared for whatever happens next. If Jess want to fight
Hey,
me
and
one-on-one, we can put them up.
Let's go. Okay, let's go.
I can. Yep, here we go. We're
I'm
gonna have
ready.
Charleston and
I
Jess
know some
rolling.
MMA. I know some boxing. Okay, I got you. Okay, we're gonna do this.
I ain't gonna let you
I'm
punch me in my pretty face.
No,
Honestly,
I'm curious. I'm curious though. You know, I've seen guys when they're not playing. You know, some guys get big, and some guys get little. Are you one of those guys that you worry about getting big, or are you worried about getting little?
You know, the older you get, you know, the fatter you get. Gravity starts to kick
Tell me
in.
about it. Tell me about it right there, buddy.
I'm dying.
Come on, look at that. Come on.
And I see
Look
you
at that
guys are a little
butterfly.
bit more aged than I am.
Hey,
So.
the same goes for ladies too. You know, it happens to us. The
Oh,
older
man.
you get, the
Nah,
bigger
done.
you get.
Nah, done.
Unless you keep yourself, you know, fit.
Yeah. See, I think I do a good job at every single season recognizing that the older you get, the harder it is to lose weight. So I
Yeah.
try to maintain my weight, whether I go on a diet and I go off the diet. I kind of go back and forth. When I feel like I'm getting too heavy, I go back on a diet and just I run all the time. So I know exactly how to maintain my weight and how to keep my weight down at a certain level. So I work hard, man. I'll tell you
Listen,
right
I know
now,
what
I'm
he's
the
doing.
hardest working person you're going to ever meet in your whole life. And
No,
you
no,
better
no, no.
believe
Listen.
you gotta get in close when I tell you that.
This guy knows how to cut a promo.
Oh my god.
That's straight up Saginaw, Michigan, right there. Everybody.
Man, you heard what Draymond said today. Ain't nothing but real talk
All right.
coming from people like that.
That's the mitten right there talking.
So look, I know what he's been doing to train, say his prayers, eat his vitamins and all that. Look at his headset, Steve. Look at his what does that remind you of, Steve?
Love it.
Playing Madden all day. Playing Madden all day. Come on. You show your fingers off there. Come on. He's a sack master. This is how he builds to sack the quarterbacks with his hands, with his fingers and all that. You play Madden, right, Charleston? Come on, you play
You
Madden.
know, I dibble dabble in a little bit of video games, yes, on my leisure time. I gotta be able to channel my great coaching ability and my mental thoughts that I have about football, and the only way to diagnose it and to really dig in deep is say, fuck it, get on Madden.
All right.
Attaboy.
So here we go. Here we go. Charleston, I know Steve, we were just talking prior to you coming on. He's trying to get a PlayStation 5.
All
Okay?
right.
Now you play being Charleston Hughes, CFL great, and obviously cutting promos and
Yeah.
lean and mean and
Not just CFL great, 2-time Grey Cup champion.
No, hold on, Steve. You said it wrong. You don't know how to two-time Great Cup champion. All right, that's how you cut a promo. Didn't Booker T teach you anything? Come on. All right. So look, but now PlayStation 4. You're playing Madden on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. That's the question.
I'm on PlayStation 4 right now, but the minute I get that PlayStation 5, it's gonna be a smooth
See, Joe?
transition.
See,
It's a
Joe,
smooth transition.
I'm dying to find one too, Charleston. I'm dying to find one.
I know people giving an arm and a leg for a PlayStation 5. You know what I do for a PlayStation 5 right now? You know what kind of things I do for that?
Hold on. As your advocate, watch this. This is how you do this. Sony. I know you're watching me here. Everybody watches me for my hair. Look, I'm dressed up. Even to Steve Carney, home of Stanley Cup champions, Tampa Bay.
Because the judge told you 50 feet away, right, Joe?
Yeah, whatever. That's the new co-host or what? Charleston Hughes, the two-time Grey Cup champion, has been playing Madden on PlayStation 4. Come on, do a guy a solid. Provide him with PlayStation 5. Provide him with an extra controller so I could kick his butt with the Buffalo Bills playing the Green Bay. His favorite team is the Green Bay.
How about that? I'll give you something more. This is what I'll do with a PlayStation 5. You know the Sports Illustrated, the body, where the guys stand at their sports and they stand butt naked. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand butt naked with my shirt off, pants off, everything, with a PlayStation
Oh, boy.
5 right there in front of me.
Listen.
Come on, EA. Come on, Sony. This is a guy that was part of the NFLPA, for crying out loud. This is a Fieldgate Trophy winner, and as Joe said, a two-time Grey Cup champion, Northwood's finest,
There we go.
Saginaw, Michigan. Shout out to the Mitten.
Sag
All right,
nasty,
so-
sag
So
nasty.
Charleston, let me ask you a question. All kidding aside, so obviously CFL, we talked about. We'll talk more about CFL, but when you see the XFL and the American Alliance Football, the XFL now coming back next year with The Rock. Shout out to my good friend Dwayne Johnson. I can't do the eyebrow. Whoever can do the eyebrow, do it. All right, Steve, look at that. All right,
Steve, we can't see Steve. Oh, there we go. I see it.
all
I
right.
see it now.
See, look,
Okay.
Johnson, all right. What are your thoughts on these other professional leagues like the XFL or American Alliance Football or anything like that?
You know what? I think it's good, man. I don't really knock none of those other leagues that get started up, and they give other players a chance to chase their dreams, to play professional football, to play professional sports, to try to get to their ending goal, which is probably the NFL, just like any other football player. But long as you have more opportunities to get as many guys in front of a camera, so the NFL can look and see other guys play, I mean, it's great. It don't bother me, especially because I think this year the Carolina Panthers, they had an XFL guy start for them this year. So it was like they look at the talent from other teams. So if that XFL didn't happen, the Carolina Panthers would never have saw that quarterback. He would have never touched the field.
Okay, so we talked about other leagues. I don't know if you guys know, but starting Saturday, it's NFL Super Wild Card, and the greatest game is at 1:00 on Saturday. 1:00 on Saturday. My Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like my Buffalo Bills. Nobody. My Buffalo Bills take on the Indianapolis Colts. I'm worried about this game just because of Indianapolis Colts coach Frank Wright, former Buffalo Bill. Back up to Jim Kelly. Charleston, you'll start us off. Who wins this game?
I would say Buffalo because Buffalo's on fire right now, but I'm going to go with Indianapolis.
All right, this is Charleston's last time on the air here.
But you know what? I know Buffalo is on fire, offensively, defensively. They hitting on all points on all levels right now. But the only reason I say Indianapolis Colts is because Phillip Rivers is hungry. He's never really made it through the playoffs. He's never really won a championship, but he's always that elite quarterback that wants to make it, that wants to go somewhere, that wants to leave the Chargers and go somewhere and do something special. And he got that team right now.
Listen, he said Phillip Rivers is hungry. I should take him to Buffalo and give him some chicken wings. All right, come on. All right, or slam him through the table. Jess, do you want to ask Charleston the next game?
Next game, okay. Well, I'm only I only watch the Seattle Seahawks, and that's all I know. Lately the Rams have, they've been playing horrible, but I think again, I see the Seahawks winning, and that's all I care about. So when it comes to Buffalo, no question. I have no questions.
All right. Well, what about you, Charleston? Rams or Seahawks?
I'm definitely going with the Seahawks too. I'm with Jason on this one. But the only reason I'm going for Seahawks because I am a diehard Rams fan. I love the Rams.
Oh, okay.
But Jared Goff is hurt. He's injured. He's got a thumb issue, so he's questionable about the game. So if he doesn't play, they don't stand a chance.
Steve, I'll go to you. Buffalo or Indianapolis, and then Rams, Seattle. Go ahead.
Yeah, this just came down here a couple of moments ago. That Stephon Diggs is questionable for the game.
No. Hold on. I have an in with Stephon Diggs. All right. Stephon Diggs. You
better have an in.
Oh my God, Joe.
Cole Beasley's questionable till I say get your ass on the field and play the game because we need you. So that's it. Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs are going to play.
Don't play. You better call a lifeline.
I know.
If they don't
Who are you calling, Joe? Who are you going to call?
If they don't play, I call Tampa. All right, I call Tampa. Because I need Tom Brady here, miracle. All right, but Steve, go ahead. Buffalo, Indianapolis.
Yeah, if Diggs plays and he missed Wednesday, was limited today, Thursday. with the oblique issue. Obliques are nasty, and Charleston knows that. If you got oblique issues, now, luckily for me, I don't have obliques, so I'm good. I'm good. I never have to worry about that. It's people like Charleston and people like Stephon Diggs that have to worry about obliques.
I've actually had an oblique issue before, and it is not fun. You can't cough, you can't sneeze, you can't roll over in bed.
Yeah, but you can catch a ball. Come on, who cares?
You can't cut. You can't cut.
You can't turn. But I will say he could get cortisone shot to play the game. So if he takes the cortisone shot, he'll probably have to take another one at halftime, and then he might end up having some serious surgery problems from that. So you never know. It can cost him his career, or it could cost him a Super Bowl. How do you want to do it?
Listen, I don't care if it costs a career. We need the Super Bowl. We need the Super Bowl. All right. Sorry, Stephon. I'll get you Steve Carty's hat. You win the Super Bowl, I'll give you a Super Bowl hat from Tampa. Come on. All right, Steve, go ahead. You still didn't give your pick there.
If Diggs plays and like Charleston said,
ain't no if, big dog. Come on, you got to say who gonna win.
Yeah,
I think guy.
I think that Buffalo, even without Diggs, can win. But I think Diggs will play, and I think the Bills will win.
Finally,
so how's that?
Great prediction by Steve. First time in 2021, I agree with him.
And I'm going to go with Charleston and Jess with the Seahawks and the Rams, and I will take Seattle because Jared Goff, even if he does play, is going to be hampered with that broken thumb. And so there's going to be a lot. Yeah, if you're a fantasy football player, play Cam Akers. Play Cam Akers. He's going to get a lot of action this week.
All right, so I'll start off with you, Steve, because the next game on Saturday night, Tampa Bay with some quarterback, like this guy, 44. He's going to be 84.
Just a guy with a couple of horns and a little beard.
Against
just a goat.
Chase Young and Washington. I'm not going to announce their second name, all right? It's
the football team. The football team.
No, football team, because we have soccer fans, and when you say football team, it's like a soccer team. All right. So look. So
they're the Washington football team. By the way, I think that the Washington football team is the best nickname in all of professional sports now. I thought that the old moniker and the old logo were the most offensive, and now it's the best. And here's why. Because Daniel Snyder can go, every other team, they're just a football team. We are the football team.
Oh, hell. Where the hell you come up with that at?
Yeah. Okay.
I love it. But here's the thing. Chase Young, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Tom Brady's going to be able to stay upright. He's going to find Antonio Brown. He's going to find Cameron Brate. He's going to find Chris Godwin. He's going to find Leonard Fournette. There's going to be a lot of scoring in this game. I have a strange feeling. And I think that the Buccaneers, let's see, what is it? It's 8.5. Line's 8.5. But we down for 14. 2 touchdown win.
All right. Steve's biased if you don't know this, Charleston.
I'm the producer of the Bucks Radio Network. So.
Oh, okay.
All right,
that makes sense.
Go ahead, Charleston.
Mike Evans is out, right?
No, he could play. It's a hyperextension. So he actually practiced today.
Ooh, that changes everything a little bit then. I thought he was out. He still might be out, though. He had a hyperextended knee, so obviously ain't nothing too serious. So it's all based on him.
Stupid new end zone turf.
You're going against Tom Brady, going against the best defense in the league, probably. Hands down, they're aggressive. They blitz a lot. They put pressure on guys. And I don't know, man. It's just Washington. Their offense sucks, man. So Alex Smith, I'm gonna still say Washington, because Alex Smith probably gonna pull it off, man. He all he got to do is don't turn the ball over. Defense is gonna ball against Tom Brady. I got a feeling that they're gonna be able to pull this one off.
Tampa's got the best Russian defense. So they're gonna force Alex Smith to throw it, and that's gonna I think be a big trouble. I mean, you know all about stopping the run. You're a run stopper. You're a guy.
I know about stopping the run, but they don't have too much of a run game anyway. So
Yeah.
that's why they're not even gonna rely on that. They're gonna rely on throwing screens. They're gonna rely on doing
Logan
more-
Thomas is going to be big. Logan Thomas is going to be big.
Yes, they're gonna rely on a lot of that type of stuff. So
Yep.
when I'm looking at the game, I'm looking at Washington is going to have to get very creative to win this game. And this is the game that they're going to have to do it in. So if they can make it past Tampa Bay by getting creative, I think this is a game that they got to pull everything out, pull all the tricks out the bag.
Let me ask you, Charleston, what's the old adage if you say you have two quarterbacks?
If you have two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
If I think the old adage is if you've got two quarterbacks, you've got no quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera has talked about splitting time between Alex Smith and Taylor Heineke. And so if they're going to do that, like I said, if you've got two quarterbacks, you got no quarterbacks.
They pulling all the tricks out the bag, man. I'm telling you, they got to do something.
John Elway, Tommy Maddox time over here.
Yeah, defense gonna hold Tampa Bay under 17. I think, in my eyes.
That's the only way they're gonna win. Honestly, if they hold them to 17, under 17, I think Washington will win. But saying that, I don't think Washington will win. Put it that way.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be able to hold them under 17.
All right,
but you're right. You're right about that.
Yeah. So Sunday, 1:00 game, arguably one of the best matchups of the weekend. Baltimore and Tennessee. Charleston, you'll start us off.
Baltimore, Tennessee, that's going to be a good matchup, man. It's going to be like a run-heavy type game. I can expect it's going to be a lot of carries going straight down the pipe to both quarterback and running back, man. So I can see Baltimore. Jackson's just so streaky, man. He's either on or he off. You know, the one thing that everybody got Jackson pinned for right now is throwing down the middle of the field. I think they're going to cover the middle of the field. Tennessee's going to hold down the middle of the field. As long as you control the quarterback and all his scrambling abilities and all the trick gadget plays that they got with the zone reads and all that good stuff. As long as you can control him from, scrambling too much outside the pocket, I mean, you got a great chance of winning the game. And knowing that Tennessee is more of a defensive-minded type team and control the ball with the offense kind of team, I just see Tennessee still pulling it off and winning.
All right, Steve.
Yeah, I think this is Derrick Henry season. Here we are. We're in January. The Titans are at home, so the Ravens are going to have to go on the road for this one as the wild card and not the division winner. I just see that this to me, as Charleston said, you're going to see a lot of Derrick Henry. You're going to see a lot of Lamar Jackson carrying the ball zone read style, and you just have to be curious. If you're having to run the football, do you want Lamar Jackson running the football, or do you want Derrick Henry running the football? I want Derrick Henry running the football. I'll take the Titans.
Both you guys are wrong. Jess doesn't want to say this. She's texted me. Charleston, you played Madden. Okay. Who's on the Madden cover this year?
Yeah, but that's a curse, ain't it? You ever heard about the Madden curse?
That's not a curse.
Curse don't never work out for nobody.
What?
People don't know. For people, yes, that is a curse, but that curse was lifted when he ran into the Cleveland Browns dressing room, took whatever, and then that curse got lifted. All right, so Baltimore will go into Tennessee.
True? The curse got lifted. Is that true or
yes?
No? Are you just making that up, Joe?
Nobody lifts a curse, Jess. Nobody lifts a curse.
Yeah, he blowing smoke.
He blew something in that dressing room. That's it.
Yeah,
right?
you know that the number 8
Joe,
is the number.
You.
You know Jackson's number is the number 2 raised to the 3rd power, right?
Yeah, well, see, now you're making everybody think. Come on, Steve. And by the way, I like Lamar Jackson, number 8, February 8th, my birthday. All right, Baltimore wins. Baltimore wins. Next game. All right, next game. I don't even know if we should talk about the. Steve, you'll start us off. Chicago, New Orleans.
It's so tough for Chicago You're going into the Dome. The Saints are going to get Alvin Kamara back off of COVID-19. And they're going to get Michael Thomas back after missing the last 3 games due to injury. Yeah, this is I want to say it's ugly, but it's going to be worse than ugly. I have a feeling this is going to be oogly.
Oogly. Okay. So, Charleston, do you agree with your shoes, oogly shoes, or what?
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be oogly too, man. I think the Saints gonna go in there and they're gonna destroy Chicago. Although I want Chicago to win because my old teammate is there as a coach, Henry Burris. But Hank, make it work, baby. I hope you can pull it off.
Hank's the man. You wanted that. See, here's the small world of Barn Burner. Hank is the man.
See, between Henry Burris and we got Vodder over there, one of my other teammates, James Vodders. I mean, I just don't see the Bears being able to pull it off, man. They don't got enough firepower. The quarterback, he's same thing. He's up, he's down. You never know what you're gonna get. I mean,
I agree. New Orleans takes it. Now, the last game of the week, it's Cleveland for the first time in 19 years, getting into the playoffs. They take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Cleveland, they called the YMCA because they need players because they're down 8 players. Or how many players, Steve? How many players they're down because of COVID?
Yeah, 8 players and 5 coaches,
Wow.
including their head coach, Kevin Stefanski, will not be able to coach on the sidelines.
Now, any truth to the rumor that the Miz and Johnny Gargano are coaching the Cleveland Browns this week, Steve? Go ahead.
They might have a better shot with the Miz and Johnny Gargano, mostly because the Miz will stand there with a steel folding chair and try and go after Deontay Johnson.
And a briefcase. Anyways, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, with all of the issues that Cleveland has with COVID-19, I would love to see the Browns beat the Steelers. I'm not a big Steeler guy, so I would love to see the Browns do it. It's not happening though. The Steelers have dealt with teams that have had COVID issues, and I think they've beaten every team that's had a COVID issue. So I don't see that I don't see them. I don't see that changing here in the first round of the postseason.
Charleston.
I think Pittsburgh, they're in trouble, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now. 100% Pittsburgh is in trouble because they're gonna run the ball down Pittsburgh's throat, which they are pretty much last in the league when it comes to rushing. And with those 2 dynamic running backs that they got in Cleveland, I think they're going to be able to pull it off. And for one thing, man, your boy is playing good at quarterback. I can't say no more about. He's doing way more than what people expected him to do, and he's the only quarterback that's his rating goes up when he's getting blitzed by 5 or more players. So he's the only quarterback with like a 100% rating when he's getting blitzed by 5 or more players. I mean, so in Pittsburgh is more of a blitzing team. So when they're sending people at him, what are you going to do? He's going to throw. He's going to get the ball out. He's going to make completions, and they're going to run the ball. So when you're the worst team at the run, but you're a more blitzing team, I think you're in trouble, man. And the secondary suspect in Pittsburgh too. That's why they started off hot. They went off undefeated. Now they're going to run into issues because they ran out of gas. They ran out of steam. They don't got it no more. I've been on teams before when we start fast and we go undefeated for the first 11, 12 games, run out of gas towards the end of the season because everybody's tired. We've been ran through the mud. And then all the other teams that start off slow and they pick it up during playoffs, it's the perfect time for Cleveland right now. They're winning at the right time and they're playing good football at the right time.
So you're picking Cleveland, Steve, Pittsburgh.
Cleveland.
I'm gonna ask you this, Charleston. I'll start off with you. That's round 1 wild card, super wild card weekend this weekend. But give me your Super Bowl prediction.
My Super Bowl prediction.
Of course, Super Bowl happens February 7th, Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. We're all invited to Steve's Carney's.
We're crashing. We're coming over, okay?
He wants us to crash. You see the 40-inch TV. Come on. I could see him and Charleston playing Madden together. Come on.
We'll find room. We'll make room.
No, Steve, I will bring my cousin's PS5 just for you if I end up coming down, okay?
Your cousin got a PS5? Tell me
That's what I said.
Yeah. I'll bring it down for you guys to play, okay?
You're wrong.
Go ahead. Your Super Bowl pick, Charleston.
KC, Green Bay. KC, Green Bay. KC.
Okay, those are his two favorite teams, by the way.
I don't know.
Two good teams to have.
KC, Green Bay. I'm gonna have to say Green Bay probably gonna run through the whole league. They're gonna run through the playoffs.
All right, so he says the Green Bay Packers will defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. I disagree. All right, who else am I gonna go with? Steve, go ahead. Don't tell me you're picking Tampa.
I'm actually not. Amazingly
Oh,
enough,
wow.
to me, Kansas City is hands down, and I know you love the Bills, Joe, but Kansas City is hands down the best team in the AFC. They are the best team. There's no
I agree
ifs,
with
ands,
that.
or buts about it.
I
On
agree.
the
They're not the best team. They got the best quarterback, but they're not the best team. Their
They're the
defense
best.
not that good.
They're the best team in the AFC.
Who's the best team in the AFC, Charleston? Then
Best team in the. You want me to say the Bills?
no, I'm just saying. To be quite honest, who would you say right now is the best team in the AFC?
Full team, probably Buffalo, probably Bills.
See this guy? What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. See, no wonder me and Charleston get along. Come on.
No wonder why you and Chelsea get along. No, for
Yeah.
me, I like Kansas City coming out of the AFC, and I'm big on New Orleans coming out of the NFC. With a healthy Michael Thomas and with a healthy Alvin Kamara and with Drew Brees and not Taysom Hill under center, I just have that strange feeling, mostly because the Buccaneers beat the Packers and got waxed by the Saints twice this year. So I'm going to go Kansas City, New Orleans with KC repeating.
Steve, first of all, I'm going to tell you how this is going to go. All right.
I already know how this is going.
I believe Baltimore.
I just noticed that my paycheck got docked again. I got fined again.
Baltimore is going to beat Tennessee and then take on KC. And I believe Baltimore will beat KC. In the AFC also, Buffalo will beat Indianapolis. Then Buffalo will beat Pittsburgh. It will be Baltimore and Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. And everybody knows, no one circles the wagons but my Buffalo Bills. And when that happens, Charleston, Steve will go to Buffalo, get you some chicken wings. Jessica will bring you a PlayStation 5. We'll all go in Tampa, celebrate.
Yeah.
Publix in Tampa and everything like that. Come on. Steve,
Publix chicken tender subs, baby.
And everything like that. Come on. And the NFC, who cares? It's all Buffalo all the time. It doesn't matter. All right. So Charleston, for people who are watching and listening here, the CFL, let's talk about the CFL. Tradition, we're Canadian. The Grey Cup. Is there anything Super Bowl, Grey Cup? Can you compare them?
No, you can't compare them at all. Actually, the Grey Cup is the most watched sport, the most watched championship sport in all sports.
Steve,
do your research. Don't know other sport have the championship game watched more than the Grey Cup.
I love watching the Grey Cup. I love watching the CFL. I know there are a lot of people in the United States, and Charleston, you know this, having grown up in the U.S., people don't get the CFL. Why are they punting on third down?
Steve, let's ask Charleston your question, what you always ask about the Rouge. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. My good friend Jim McKean, who was a punter and a quarterback back in the 60s in the CFL. And then he went on to become an umpire in Major League Baseball. Every time he would sit down next to me at Tropicana Field, I look over, I'm like, Jimmy, what the hell is a Rouge? What the fuck is a Rouge? He's like, it's a single. I'm like, okay, what's a single? It's a single point. Okay, well, how do you score a single point? And I got more mileage out of that joke for I'm talking like 10 to 12 years. Every time we sit down, Jimmy, what the hell is a Rouge?
So explain what a Rouge is, Charles.
I know what a Rouge is now.
What's a Rouge?
A rouge is when the defending team, after a kick attempt, a field goal attempt, cannot get the ball out of the end zone, and then the kicking team gets a point.
That's close. That's half.
That's
That's half. That's half. But you can do it on punts too. You can punt through
the best.
kick.
The best is when
Any
they do,
kick that goes
Uh-huh.
through the end zone and never leaves the end zone is 1 point.
But what about it on a punt? Should be a touchback then.
Nope, it's a rouge.
Wow, there's no touchbacks.
and that's why the best part of the CFL, honestly,
Awful.
they put the punter in the back of the end zone when it's the end of the game. Tell them, Charleston, and the punter runs
I've
after the ball,
seen-
kicks it out.
Yeah, see, I saw the Grey Cup final was it was the one I just remember Mark Trestman was in it. So it must have been the Owls. And like when they had like 3 or 4 different punts to try at the end of the game, and I was like, this is cool as hell. I'm like, oh, gotta punt it out, gotta kick it out. And they kicked it back in. And, oh, gotta kick it out again.
Oh yeah. I know which game you're talking about. Yeah, because they didn't want to give up a point. So
Yeah.
or they were down by a point.
No, it was tied. It was a tie game.
It was a tie game, and they
Winnipeg
tried
and
the Argos.
Yeah, and they tried
Yeah.
to kick it out
Argos.
of the end zone, but he didn't
Yeah.
kick it far enough.
Yeah,
the Argos
they, like,
recovered the ball.
they
tried
whiffed
to get
it.
it out of the end zone because it would have been a point if you take it.
Yeah, and they would have won, and then Winnipeg would have won anyway.
So Charleston, let me ask you a question here. With you have friends in the States and all that. When you say you're a CFL player in Saskatchewan, what's the first thing they say? Saskatchewan? What what's how do you explain to people we're Canadian here, except Steve's American, but he has roots in Canada, put it that way. All right. Barn burner who pays his salary. All right. So
Yeah, my salary of this,
yeah. All right.
my bagel.
Yeah.
5 fingers.
So what do you tell people? Saskatchewan. What's the first thing? Like, where's Saskatchewan? What's Saskatchewan? What's the first thing you tell them about Saskatchewan?
It's cold as hell.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't
Is hell-
doubt it.
Hold on, wait, is hell cold?
Saskatchewan, where is
Can
Saskatchewan?
be.
Okay.
Can
Where do you live?
I really just tell them that, you know what, I play in Saskatchewan, it's in Canada, it's in
The middle of Canada.
the middle of Canada, I guess you
Somewhere
could
in
say.
Canada. Yeah.
North of North Dakota. That's all I tell everybody. So if you can't find North Dakota or Montana, then you can't find me.
Oh boy.
What is your? I know you're a CFL, and hopefully the CFL plays this year and all that. But what is your ultimate goal here? Because you said like you're a little bit older. You got hopefully knock on wood.
Shh, Joe, don't know. Joe, can't call him
I'm
that.
I'm like a spring chicken.
Great
Good to
chicken.
go.
But if somebody offers you an NFL contract, do you run or do you think about it and say, I have great time in CFL and I want to end my career here?
He runs.
If somebody offered me an NFL contract right now, I would say, first of all, where am I at on the depth chart? If I ain't number one, I ain't coming. Second of all, how much am I signing for? And then third, I mean, it just better be a good opportunity because I'm walking away from a lot when I walk away from Canada, right? Because I'm still chasing records, still chasing a certain thing here in Canada.
He doesn't want to go to. He doesn't want to go to Jacksonville. He doesn't want to play third.
I'll go. I'll be the best. I'll be the best defense player they got right now.
Well, probably.
Like, hands down.
There's no doubt. Actually, no, probably about it. Yeah, you would be the best. You would be the best defensive player in Jacksonville. You'd be the best defensive player probably on both New York teams. So you'd be good to go.
So here,
Jacksonville though, no state income tax.
Oh.
And especially in Canada, put it that. Never mind. All
Yeah.
right. So Charleston, let me ask you this: we got a lot of people watching from all types of ages and all that, little kids growing up wanting to be a football player or whatever. What made you, when you were growing up, what made you have the passion and love to get into football?
Shit, I ain't getting to football until I was in high school.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was always a track runner, basketball player growing up. So I was
Who's your team in basketball?
Ooh, that's a good one. Right now, who I would be
Toronto
cheering
Raptors.
for. No, Toronto sucks right now. But
Tell me about tell me about it. I gotta
agree,
watch him.
I agree.
Tell
It's
me about
not
it. I gotta watch
Toronto
him.
Raptors this year. It's Tampa Raptors. Let me correct you.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll
man,
give the
I'm
Tampa
a
Bay
That's why they
name now.
suck.
I'm a fan of the Lakers right now, man. They pulled
Yeah.
it off last year. They got the pretty much the same core of their team back, so they'll probably pull it off again this year. Ain't nobody gonna stop them.
All right, and when you let's get back to the CFL. You're a veteran of the CFL or whatever. Who's the hardest guy you have to sack?
Probably Chris Streveler.
And of course now he's in Arizona.
Yeah, he's in Arizona. He's probably the only guy where he has great acceleration. Probably the fastest I've ever seen somebody accelerate from 0 to 60 on a football player, on a football field, really. I never played against too many guys that can take off like he do. So, I mean,
how difficult was it when you made the transition to play in the CFL, going from a 100-yard by 53 and a third yards to the 120 yards by 75 yards, the field, having to cover that much ground, moving from the American game to the Canadian game. How big of a transition was that?
For me, because I came into the CFL as a linebacker, I think the hardest transition was all the motioning by receivers. I never even watched any film about the CFL football and got acclimated to what's going on in the Canadian Football League. So when I lined up at linebacker, and then you start seeing receivers go here, receivers go there,
running at you
over here, and then they start running at you. And my eyes big because I'm thinking I gotta drop to the strength, but I don't know where the strength is. It's an extra guy on the field. But now because I've been in the league so long, I'm adjusted to it. But when I first got into the league, that was the hardest adjustment that I had to make. And then after a while, they told me look, man, you go over there and put your hand in the dirt and play D-line. And I was like, good. I don't have to worry about receivers anymore.
I don't have to worry about covering sideline to sideline. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
So how did you get into football then, Charleston? I know you were saying from high school. So what made you interested in football?
Well, I was a track runner. I was always a track athlete.
Yeah.
I was too short to keep playing basketball, so I stopped getting taller. So when everybody else started doing this, and I stayed here, basketball wasn't gonna cut it. So I ended up wrestling, getting into wrestling and running track. And then one day the coach came up to me when I was walking through the hallway and was like, "Man, you're pretty fast," because he came and saw me at a track meet. And then he was like, "What other sports do you play?" I told him I wrestle, so that means I'm strong. Then he was like, "How about you come out and play football?" And just like any other kid, their mom says, "No, I don't want my baby to come out."
Meanwhile, what weight class were you at? What weight class were you wrestling at?
189.
189.
Okay, hold on. I gotta ask you. So you do you watch professional wrestling?
Every once in a while, not really, but every once in a while.
The guy wearing the hat, he taught Hornswoggle. All right, so he taught him. He taught him.
Lying to you. He's lying to you.
All right, so
only because I'm the same size as Hornswoggle, not really, but
all right. Who's Hornswoggle? You mean you're Mankind?
He gave Mankind Socko. He's using sock there. Come on. All right. So when people talk about CFL, NFL, what do you say? It's what's the difference and all that? Do you actually theoretically tell them the difference, or you say, because people don't know, if you're Canadian, you understand. I'm not going to say CFL is a better game because obviously NFL has more notoriety or whatever, but CFL, I'm Canadian, so I'm a little bit biased, is the better game.
I think CFL is the better game. It's built. I wouldn't say it's the better game. It's just about what kind of player you are. The CFL is built for more fast pace, more smaller, more guys who are good in space, more guys who can cover. You got to be able to be a cover guy when it's coming to the CFL. I mean, when you're in the NFL, everything is still on kind of fast pace, but you're on a smaller field. You don't really have to be that good in space, but the guys that are good in space, they make it work. I mean, for the NFL, you need more bigger, large, stronger kind of guys, you know, that aren't really that mobile, but they can cover ground and they don't get pushed off. They hole pluggers. I mean, if you bring a hole plugger to the CFL, he's not going to be that effective in a game because you still got to cover sideline to sideline. If they run a screen play, you got an extra maybe 15 to 20 yards on both sidelines from the numbers to the sideline. So you got to be able to move. You got to be able to run. You got to be able to cover ground with speed. So big, you know, run stopping defensive linemen, they're not really that effective in the CFL because you got to run too much.
All right. So
how many times do you have a receiver as a linebacker try and use the goalpost to pick you off?
Oh, every single play.
I hate that.
If you get in the red zone, and that's one of the things where like that's only the smart receivers do that. When you run a crossing route, you run right next to the goalpost because you know the defensive player has to either jet stream. Jet stream is meaning that the defensive back is going to get right behind the receiver when he's running a crossing route, or you got to go over the top, which you might give up a touchdown if you do that. So most of the time, the only way to get past it is a jet stream and, you know, trail a guy as hard as you can.
I mentioned when you first came on here, we're glad to have you on, but I think you have some big announcements. Some other shows are coming to the Barn Burner Network also, and I know that you have your own like foundation and stuff like that. Go ahead, promote yourself, do a wrestling promo. Come on.
Let me tell you about
Let's hear
this wonderful program called Better with Age podcast. You know, we're on all major platforms right now. We're bringing our show to Barn Burner. We're bringing something different, something unique, something that nobody else is doing right now. We're bringing on anything from, you know, midget guitar player, rock star guys. We got a mystic coming on pretty soon who's going to tell us who actually is going to win the Super Bowl. We got all kind of good stuff. We've had people like Dallas Smith, a Canadian country singer. We've had Grant Fuhr. We had, you know, a Hall of Fame hockey player. So we've been all over the place when it comes to guests, when it comes to who we have on our show. So we're trying to do something really unique, something really special, something really entertaining, and bring good content to everyone.
But Charleston, you haven't dropped,
baby, so you get ready.
but Charleston, you haven't dropped that you co-host a Barn Burner on your program.
You know what? I'm gonna have all three. I was like four, y'all. All three, y'all. Okay,
I'm big enough to be two, so you can say four.
Yeah, I saw myself. I didn't even recognize myself. You know, sometimes I shock myself.
Let's have.
Who is that handsome man?
Here's the idea. What about having a Madden tournament and Jessica presides the PlayStation 5? Come on.
Show me your fingers, Jessica. Let me see your fingers.
My fingers?
Yeah.
No.
My nails ain't done.
That is true. It's COVID. Everything is closed. My nails aren't done. Okay, so
hey, don't blame it on COVID.
All right, and Charleston, do you have anything, your foundation or anything you want to promote here?
Oh man, we doing great things right now, man. I got a lot of stuff on the go as far as, you know, my Front Seven Academy where we train football kids. We train them and preparing them for the University of Toronto. We got a kid going to, so shout out to him. And we got other athletes that we're training. I know there's a H.E.R network that you guys also have on your program. It's a good thing that you have an H.E.R network because we're all branching out from, you know, just training football players to training, you know, the females now. We're training women. We're bringing out a boot camp to really whip them into shape. Let's knock off all that COVID
Can Jessica
weight.
take?
Let's bring sexy back.
Boot camp. I want to say, can Jessica take part?
Hey, I'm gonna kill that boot camp, so don't even test me, okay, Joe? Like, don't even get me started.
That's the kind of attitude I want. That's the kind of women and females that I want to come in. Come in ready to know that you're gonna kill it because I'm gonna help you get all the way through. Anyways, I'm gonna be motivating like no other. Might even have Better with Age there.
Oh wow. All right, so Better with Age coming to the Barn Burner Radio Network. If you haven't tuned it in, tune it in. It's great and great addition to the Barn Burner lineup here with Charleston. Charleston, Steve, I'll ask you, any final comments to Charleston Hughes, the two-time Grey Cup champion, soon to be the 3-time Grey Cup champion if they ever play.
Yeah, they got to get playing again. I'm excited to see what Charleston, what you can do with Better with Age, with the Better with Age podcast and everything that's going on. I'm really excited to see what's next on the menu, as they like to say.
It's about to get crazy, man. As I'm telling you, we're transforming our show right now and going through, I guess, a rebranding kind of stage. So we want to make it more exciting, a better experience, a better, just visual experience for everybody, all our viewers out there who watch our show. So it's going to do nothing but get better from here. And the sky's the limit, baby.
All right, Jessica, any final thoughts to Charleston?
No, same here. You know what? I'm super excited. I'm excited to listen to the podcast. I'm gonna do it tonight. Better with Age. Everybody go listen to it. So I'm gonna do that tonight. But you know what? Super excited. Thanks so much for coming on today. And it was great, even listening to your whole history, how you got into football and whatnot. So thank you.
Well, thanks, guys.
Charleston, you've done so well that I'm going to promote you. Even I'm promoting you from like backup linebacker to starting All Pro, CFL, and you're more than welcome anytime on here, Barn Burner Live, especially
come back, yeah.
When Tampa Bay loses and Tom Brady goes down.
I can't wait till Tom Brady take this L so I can come back and rub it right in your face. You hear me, Steve? You hear me, Steve?
Where's Jameis Winston when I need him? I need a W. I need a W that I can eat.
Man, we can bet some push-ups on it if you want to.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
push up the world.
Yeah.
You ever seen the world try and push up the world?
All right, so Charleston, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you social media wise.
You can get a hold of me on Twitter at Saskatchewan. Good luck trying to spell it, but you can find me by my name, baby Charleston.
I just followed it.
I'm gonna go do that right now.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. That's my main source of what I answer. I got my Better with Age. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Apple TV. You can find us on all major platforms. So if you want to listen to us,
let's give a shout out to your co-host also. Let's give a shout out to him, a co-host.
Johan, that's my guy. My day one to the whatever. No, Johan's been a great guy, man. Ever since we started this little venture together and it's been taken off together, we just finally got, the Better with Age name incorporated. So now that we did all that good stuff, man, like I said, me and Johan, we're going to take it to the top.
And you know what, Charleston, I just had the idea. Do you want to be our NFL playoff analyst every week till February 7th? And if you're getting right, Steve will open up his door. It's in Tampa, Raymond James Stadium, and all that. Come on, the red carpet. We'll have a barn burner mic flash there, and you'll interview players like Josh Allen, because Buffalo's going to go to Super Bowl, like Stephon Diggs, and then we'll complain by Steve saying Stephon Diggs not going to play and all that. Come on. Do you want to do that, Charleston, or what?
Not even on the spot.
I know. I got to check.
He's a two-time Grey Cup champion. Come on.
What?
I got to check my schedule. I got a schedule.
Thursday night, Barn Burner Live, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It's Saskatchewan time. You're more than welcome to come on here. But any final thoughts, Charleston? A great addition here. And really, everybody go out of the way to see the energy, the love for football, the love for life. You don't see it from an athlete now in these COVID times. But thank you, Charleston.
Yeah, man. I just said tell everybody to stay safe out there. I know y'all. Are y'all still shut down there in Toronto? From COVID?
We're gonna have a curfew here.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, it's in Quebec right now. No, we don't. I've had enough of this.
All right, Jess,
okay.
you want to
keep extending? They keep extending our lockdown. I was gonna swear.
Because y'all don't know how to stay inside. That's
that is not true. We've been inside for like 2 months now.
Oh no, here's the idea. Jess has told me she can't take the curfew. I told her move to Saskatchewan. There's nothing wrong with Saskatchewan, right? Only it's like minus.
Too cold. Clearly, it's too cold there, so it's worse than Toronto. I heard. I once heard from somebody. So
it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad.
I'll go back to Vancouver, okay? Because we're still open out there. So
all right,
maybe not Saskatchewan.
So thanks a lot, Charleston. Again, Charleston Hughes, follow him out in all the social media and check out his podcast coming to the Barn Burner Radio Network. And seriously, Charleston, we want you back on here next week to guarantee the push-ups that Steve Carney are going to do. Okay.
I want my damn push-ups.
I thought he's going to say, Jess, I thought he's going to say he wants his PlayStation 5. Come on.
Yes, give me the PlayStation 5. Put in a word for your boy.
just bring it in, or just mail it out to you. Why not, right?
Yeah, shoot. Dang. All right. I will say, stay safe out there. Make sure you stay healthy. Get your push-ups in. Make sure you're working out. The only way to stay mentally sane is to work out while you're locked up. When we were locked up in Saskatchewan, I did the same thing. Get into your fitness, do whatever you can to stay mentally focused on the right things.
Me and Steve are on a seafood diet. Whatever we see,
you gotta stay mentally focused on the right things, man. Mental health is important. So make sure y'all take care of that. And your boy is out because I got to go shower. I just got done working out and I stink.
Oh. Thank you so much for coming on. Nice meeting you.
Thanks, Charleston.
See y'all later.
Thanks, brother.
All right, we got a couple minutes left before we close this edition. Great, and Charleston, great football player, even better player. You see,
y'all thought I was just gonna leave,
Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah, now he's
Is he
gone?
gone? Is he gone yet? Now we got to talk about him.
Now he's gone.
Now we can talk about Charleston Hughes.
Oh my God.
One of the hottest free agent pickups there, and you could see why. Two-time Grey Cup champion, the love of the game. He has a foundation there. We're happy to bring his show podcast to the Barn Burner Radio Network, and he'll come on here. Trust me, from time to time and talk. There's nobody better to talk NFL football, CFL football than Charleston. All right, we got 5 minutes left here, 6 minutes left here. Steve, let's talk about Wednesday coming up, the National Hockey League season. All right, since we're on this Tampa Bay kick, okay, if the Buccaneers lose to Washington, okay,
oh Lord,
how disappointing would that be?
If the Bucs lose to Washington on Saturday night on the road, but still to a 7-9 team that had to win in week 17 just to get to 7-9. Could you imagine if the Bucs were having to take on a 6-10 New York Giants team that they barely beat on Thursday Night Football earlier in the year? So I look at it this way. If they can't beat the 7-9 Washington football team, it's going to be a huge disappointment, because you look on all three facets of the game, the Bucs are better. They're a better offensive team. Yes, I know they don't run the football very well, but you've got plenty of offensive weapons. From Chris Godwin, former Pro Bowler, Antonio Brown, former Pro Bowler, Rob Gronkowski, former Pro Bowler, Tom Brady, greatest quarterback that's ever lived. You've got their offensive line has been extremely good this year in keeping Tom Brady upright. And I think that that's going to be the biggest key. I was on sports radio in Seattle this afternoon, sports radio KJR in Seattle. And they asked me, what do I think is the biggest key to a Bucs victory on Saturday night? And I said, it's simple. Keep Tom Brady upright. That's it. If you can keep Tom Brady upright, that means he's not feeling any pressure. He's able to go through his progressions, and he's able to find his receivers. The Bucs are going to put up a ton of points on Washington. That's the big question. It's a lot. It's simple to think about, but it's going to be very difficult because Washington's pressure is very, very good. And Chase Young has come into his own here second half of the season.
All right. So I'm going to invite on for the last 5-6 minutes our producer, Robbie, come on here. Since we have the Ladies Network, I want to close out talking about the H.E.R Network. You see here, Robbie is our producer there with Jessica, who's our new co-host of Barn Burner Live. Jessica,
Robbie's chilling.
Big.
Yeah, Robbie's hanging out.
Unmute yourself, producer. Unmute yourself. Jessica, big addition here, a very good co-host every week on Barn Burner Live, and Jess and Robbie, who produces most every show on the H.E.R Network. Jess, first of all, how was your first maiden voyage on Barn Burner Live, the flagship of the Barn Burner TV network. You know, millions and millions of people watched you tonight.
That's amazing. You know what? No, I had an amazing time first day, you know, and I love always, you know, saying Steve. You know, it's always nice saying Steve, right, Steve? But
That's
you know
right.
what? It was a good night. Thank you so much, Joe, you know, for having me on, and I'm excited to, you know, be on for the next multiple episodes.
All right, so Arabi, who's the producer here, Arabi, you're the queen of hip hop. Come on, tell everybody who's your favorite musician. Let's see if Jess knows this. Come on.
I
Oh,
literally
fine,
say,
no, okay.
literally every time I get on here, I say the same thing.
Uh-oh, who is it?
It's Masego. I love him. I'm gonna get him tattooed on my arm, well, behind my arm. I don't think my
Okay,
mother.
okay.
He's the only man I'm gonna get tattooed on my body. I love him so much.
What would you get? Like, why do you love him so much? What's about him that you're, you know, what intrigues you about him?
So I play the saxophone, but recently but when I moved back to New York, my saxophone got stolen. Long story.
Oh, no.
But
yeah.
one of my goals is I wanted to put more of my music out there, like of me playing covers. Like I've said, I'm not that good yet. And I wanted him to see it and then like, oh my God, that's dope. And then he's like, all right, play with me or something. I don't know. It's just like some like childhood, I don't know, not childhood, but like some girl fantasy thing. But
it's a story behind it. I love it.
No,
It's awesome.
I find him like really inspiring, but you should really look him up and listen to like his new EP.
Yeah.
He dropped. It's amazing. It's a reflection of my glasses. Let me take that off.
No,
But yes, I love
definitely will. I definitely will. So I'll do my research.
All right, and
for
tell
sure.
Robbie, tell everybody, just in case they haven't seen you or whatever, you have a very unique background. Tell everybody where you're born and everything. Sorry, Robbie. I know.
Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. Okay, when I found out, Steve is so cool. You're gonna be surprised.
No, so I feel like I have bags in my eyes. No, so I'm Italian.
Good.
I'm Italian and Egyptian. There's actually like I have flags in my room if you want to see them.
That's so cool. Amazing.
Yeah,
girl.
But my mother is Egyptian. She's from Cairo. And a lot of the times when I meet other people who are like Egyptian or like Muslim, they're like, you don't look Egyptian. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't like fit the criteria. It's not my fault. And my father is Italian and then so am I. So that's pretty much, I don't know. People just think it's so cool. I'm just like, but I Americanized. I learned English and I speak English pretty well. But I basically just say I'm from Brooklyn, from New York. So it's not.
Yeah.
Good
enough. There's actually not a lot of Egyptians. Like, well, I don't know many in Toronto. So when I first heard, I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Like, you know.
Okay, so we'll close this out like with this. I know Steve's in the U.S. We started out. We'll close it out here. Give me your opinion of what happened yesterday in Washington, Arabi.
Let me tell you about that nonsense.
I want to hear this.
No, because I was at my friend's house and he got a call and then like his friend was like, turn on the TV. And then we saw this and we were all just sitting in the room, just like amazed at this. Because if this was a Black Lives Matter protest situation, it'd be a whole different scenario. And there are people out there in the Capitol getting killed. And it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on in the society. I saw that. I was like, let me pack my bags up. You know what I did? I started looking at flights. And Canada's looking nice right now, except your curfew. I don't like that. But I do have a friend in New Zealand who said there's no COVID over there. I'm just like,
yeah, you got to quarantine for 14 days though to go there.
I've already been quarantined. I'm good. There's nothing wrong with me. So
it's my home girl.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. But I just honestly, it's really with other countries. Like other countries are looking at us and they're just like, y'all don't have your stuff together. Because it's really, like I said, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that you see people do that. And it just shows like there's no love going on. It's really messed up. And I was completely agreeing with your with Drew that came on. I wanted to like get in the chat and be like, yes, sir. I like none of that. I don't know. But it definitely, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely like it gets my blood boiling when I see stuff like that, when I hear it, because of everything that's going on this summer. Like 2020 was very hard for everybody. There was like the Black Lives Matter, there was loss of people, there was people losing their jobs, small businesses, especially the small businesses in New York, like they got heavily impacted.
Oh,
So
all the restaurants,
Mm.
every I have
Exactly.
so many friends who own restaurants in New York City, and
What is that
almost all of them
Yeah.
have had either had to slash almost everything, or they've lost their places. Like one of my best friends had an
Mm.
Irish bar in Manhattan, right on 33rd Street, right across the street from the Empire State Building, Foley's Irish Pub. They had to close. He had to close
Oh, so
down in
sad.
the
All
pandemic.
right, Steve, hold on. Before my producer gets mad at me, tell Steve you'll start us off because we got 2 minutes left. How do people get a hold of you?
We got 2 minutes. Look at that. We got 2 minutes left. You can follow me on social media at Steve Carney. I don't know when you can check me out. You can check me out on Thursdays when Joe
Steve?
when I feel like it coming on here.
No, when he feels
on
like
Barn
it.
Burner
Come
Live.
on, you're here with me and Justin and Robbie. Come
When
on.
you feel like coming on,
And
he will,
I
he'll come
feel
on
like
more now.
I feel like coming on. I will say these 3 words. I don't know when things are getting started, but they hopefully will get started very soon. St. Pete 9. Just keep those 3 words in mind.
St. Pete 9.
Mhm.
I know what he's
don't
saying.
forget that as soon as we end this.
Yeah. Jess, go ahead.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well. Jess Says, so J-E 3 S's A-Y-S, Jess Says, and sit down with us every Wednesday. Well, it's going to be once every month now because I'm on live on with Mr. Joe here every Thursday. But you can find me on Instagram and Twitter.
All right. And Robbie, go ahead. I know it's time. Some producer wrote that, but go ahead. Tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
You can find me on Instagram and recently TikTok at
Nice.
_FOR_Arabi ARABI. Seriously,
And that-
we'll be able to TikTok.
And everybody wants to see Steve on TikTok. So check him out. Steve, create a TikTok account. Everybody's going to be on TikTok. Okay.
Steve, can you please?
Yes, create a TikTok. Let's do a duet.
Girl, I already have one. You have to get on mine. Do a duet. Like, we'll do it.
All right,
Gotcha.
duet. We're out of time here. You've been watching Barn Burner Live on Zingo TV channel 250, also on the H.E.R Network Zingo TV channel 251. For Steve Carney, Jessica Singh, and all our great guests who we had on, Drew Ebanks, also Charleston Hughes, Justin Levine, and Robbie, who's produced this thing.
Great job, Robbie.
Great job.
Amazing.
And stay tuned for more great programming. Have a great evening. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks a lot.